What is up, everybody? How are you guys doing today? It's Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, and welcome to another episode of the Black Line Brief. I'm your host, Matthew McKim, and today we are joined by Matthew Tucciarone, a former TPUSA staffer. In fact, let me pull up his bio real quick. Well, first, Matt, how you doing?
Good. How are you, man?
I'm doing good. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
It's been in the works, so I'm excited. You're finally feeling better and you're settled. So I'm happy.
Yes. Thank you. Me too.
All right, I'm going to read your bio. So for folks of you that don't know, I'm going to read a little bio for Matt, right? Tonight, we are joined by Matthew Tucciarone, a former Turning Point Action staffer who worked directly in conservative political organizing and get out the vote operations. Matthew spent time inside the Turning Point ecosystem, working under leadership connected to Turning Point Action and alongside major figures tied to TPUSA's political expansion efforts, like Tyler Boyer. During his time there, he witnessed the internal culture, political strategy, power struggles, and organizational conflicts that most people on the outside never saw. In recent months, Matthew has begun speaking publicly about what he saw, or what he says were serious issues behind the scenes, including internal infighting, operational concerns, political manipulation, loyalty tests, and what he believes became a corrupt culture within parts of the organization. Tonight's conversation is about hearing his firsthand experiences, asking difficult questions, and allowing viewers to hear directly from someone who was inside that world. All right. Oh my goodness. So, where to begin? I actually have a bunch of questions pulled up, but okay. I guess first, at what point did you start realizing something felt off in Turning Point?
So, all right. So in Arizona, prior to Charlie's death and all that, prior to the 2024 election, Turning Point obviously is headquartered in Phoenix. And I lived in Arizona. I lived up in Sedona, about an hour and a half away from Phoenix. And the problems with Turning Point and the culture and all that, all those issues that we are hearing now, that was going on well before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Okay. And a lot of Arizonans knew the corruption of Tyler Boyer. And it is Tyler Boyer. And they warned me before joining Turning Point. I was a precinct committeeman for the Republican Party. Precinct committeemen do grassroots level stuff, door knocking, getting voters registered, etc. Same thing that Turning Point does, just Turning Point is now a machine. Yeah. And usually the precincts are full of baby boomers, older. Yeah. So I was already heavily plugged in. I was an activist in 2020. So I was around all of these political organizations that were popping up in Arizona. I would say Arizona is the capital of the patriot organizations. I mean, we had the Patriot Party of Arizona, Turning Point, General Flynn's, what's General Flynn's one? I've been to it too. That organization, it's like Arizona is so central for these patriot grifting organizations, the Clay Clark events too.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so is there something within the system of Arizona, like the legal system, that also is perfect for them all to be set up there? Or do you just mean Central America, so they can get to different parts?
No, I would say so. My friend from DC, very well connected politically. She worked in the Reagan administration. She's been around the Republican Party for a very long time. So she came out to Arizona and she had a conversation with me. She was working on a project and she would just tell me, she goes, Matt, all of the bad people, it's always been Arizona ever since their inception, ever since they became a state. It's the wild, wild west. And that's where all the corrupt cowboys and everybody ends up in Arizona. And to this day, it is still just like the old wild, wild west. It's just, we're not wearing, some people wear cowboy hats in Arizona, but it's more, we're in suits now. Yeah. That's it. We're thugs in suits. I'm not a thug in suit.
Yeah, but. No, I know what you
mean. So going back to Turning Point and the corruption and all that, I was warned. So when I signed up for Turning Point, a couple of my precinct buddies met me at the hotel that Turning Point was having an event, and I just got my contract and I just got everything emailed me, got out of training, and I'm signing it. And my precinct friends met me and they were just like, they're trying to warn me. They're like, Matt, what are you doing? And I'm like, it's Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk's awesome, and they're like, it's not Charlie, Matt. You really need to watch out for Tyler Boyer.
Hmm.
It is a corrupt organization. Charlie, it's bigger than Charlie. He doesn't even know it. And that's what a lot of Arizonans said. And this is prior to the 2024 election cycle.
So when you started, that was 23 or
I'm sorry, it was 24 prior to the election, I should say.
Okay, so in 2024. Okay.
Yep. And then we had a long conversation at the hotel as I'm signing this contract. And they're like, you know what, though? If you feel there is good in this organization, I said, I really do. And they're like, well, then take the job and do it and let us know.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't take long. I joined. I joined, and I just saw it really up close and personal firsthand. I mean, Tyler is a shady person. You would go to events. They treat us field workers like we're garbage. These Alex Clark people, that sit at headquarters, and they act like they go and chase the vote and they door knock and all that. And it's always them in photos of them door knocking. But the field workers, right? And all they do is they go out in the field,
take one photo.
Like one photo, knock 5 doors, and they go back to their little,
air conditioned room and
air condition. Yeah, exactly.
What is her channel thing called? Something apothecary or whatever.
Apothecary or something. Yeah. So, Tyler Boyer was also the chairman for the MCRC, which is the Maricopa County Republican Committee, a long time ago before I want to say right before Charlie or during the time Charlie came to Arizona. And he embezzled money through the coffers of the MCRC. I mean, he stole like $50,000. Right? Yeah, Tyler did $50,000 from the MCRC. So the vice chair in 2024, Shelby Bush, who I've worked on a couple projects with, she warned me as well. I mean, she's like, Matt, I've been in this realm closer to Tyler than you have. You're just getting involved. I'm going to tell you right now, I feel bad for those kids that are at Turning Point. But she's like, you're a good guy. She goes, model what Charlie is and because I'm a little bit older than the rest of the young people that were there. So she's like, you're in your 30s, model what Charlie is trying to build. Watch out for Tyler.
Yeah. Are the allegations that like Candace had brought up about him and young male staffers, is that well known within TPUSA? Is that true, or?
It is well known in TPUSA. I mean, the individual who was sending me information post Charlie's assassination, who was still in Turning Point, we always would talk about it. She would always bring it up. She's like, Matthew Martinez, who is the head data analysis guy for Turning Point Action. I mean, he's clearly hiding it. He's clearly, I mean, he wears, but he's Tyler's data guy. So he sits right next door to Tyler's office. And she's like, man, he gets him to do everything for him. I'm like, I know. And Matthew Martinez has hidden it. My manager tried to actually set something up between me and Matthew Martinez. Like, and I was like, I'm not here for that. I'm here for the movement.
Yeah.
I was at the Andy Biggs rally in 2025, so I wasn't working at Turning Point, but they invited me back VIP for the launch of the Andy Biggs gubernatorial race. And that was the last time I saw Charlie on stage. That was the last time I saw Charlie, and that was the first time I saw Erika Kirk make an appearance. Was
At a Turning Point event?
Yeah, I mean, she's made appearances.
Like the Young Women's Leadership Summits and like
right
here and there. But so what month was that one?
For the political arm, which is TP Action.
Correct.
I was like, interesting, you know. She introduced Charlie at the gubernatorial launch of Andy Biggs. But we were walking. So my friend who still was at Turning Point brought me up to the green room because it was hot that day. It was like 110. And the air conditioning in the auditorium was not working well. I was like, I'm sweating. I'm in my suit. I'm networking. I need some water. So she took me up to the green room. And as we're going upstairs to the green room, Tyler is walking down. And he looks at me and he remembers me. And then he's walking down. And then he does this and like looks back at me. And my friend goes, he's definitely checking you out. I'm like, I am getting that vibe right away, and I agree with you. So
that's funny.
Yeah. So,
go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, that event was interesting. That's when I saw Erika at a TP Action event. And
what month was that in 2025?
June.
Okay.
June of 2025. That's right when I launched my mayoral race as well. That's why they invited me VIP. I was going to go network with a bunch of people, you know, of course. Senator Justine Watzak was on my team. And so she had called me and said, hey, I got the VIP tickets for you. So come network and, you know, see Andy Biggs and see Charlie. I'm like, great. And that was the last time I saw Charlie Kirk in person.
Yeah.
And it was his wife introducing him. She was setting the stage that day. She was like, guys, I usually don't get involved. I wish I recorded her speech, but I'm sure we can pull it sometime. She's like, I never get involved with the action. And, you know, I'm a traditional mom, traditional wife, stay at home. But this is so important to our state. And we got to get Andy Biggs elected. And blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm like, I've never heard her ever talk like this.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, Andy Biggs is Mormon. So that's why Turning Point is backing Andy Biggs. Tyler Boyer is a Mormon.
Yep. Terrell Farnsworth.
Yes.
I want to ask you about that. Why do you think, I mean, obviously, like we have quote unquote, I mean, it's almost the same kind of lie about like Judeo-Christian values, because like when you get down to the nuts and bolts of, you know, Latter-day Saints theology, it's not the same. It's not the same. And why do you think Charlie chose to, you know, kind of marry himself with so many LDS? Because I mean, they do call themselves Christians, but I mean, he would know theologically, like he would know all the other stuff, like the three kingdoms, and you got to be, you know, the three different heavens, and you can be a god on your next earth. If you make it to the third heaven, you got to be sealed, like all this stuff. He would know that. Why do you think he chose to like pair himself with so many LDS?
One, it's the Four Corners region. We're very close to Utah.
Yep.
And Mormons are all over the place. And when you're in this realm and you're in politics, they want you to work with everybody no matter what. And that, you know, and it was, I think for Charlie, it was just, you know, this is what we have to do. This is the game.
Yeah.
It was weird because, you know, Turning Point has taken in, you know, Phillies and then Christians and Mormons and all these different sects and religion. And I really think it was to get more of that Judeo-Christian programming into all of these groups, because that's what it is. And Mormons are one of the number one supporters.
Yeah, they are.
For Zionism. I don't know
Yep.
if you want me to say that on your show.
Yeah, you can say Zionism. The only one that like I really sketch out about would be like the country's name.
Yeah, okay.
For whatever reason, when I say that name and I hate it, I hate having to like limit my free freaking speech, you know, but like every time I do it, and even when I put the flag, you know, the Philadelphian flag, the Star of David, or their name of this, you know, the country in the thumbnail or the title,
yeah,
the video goes nowhere. It's crazy. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So
Zionism.
Number one supporter is Zionism. You know, connected to them. I think if you look at the lineage and when Zionism came about, what in the 1800s, and if you look, there's connections and to the Mormon Church.
Yeah.
So it's all melting together. Yeah. And I'm going to tell you, there was nothing. Unfortunately, there was nothing Charlie could have done. It got way bigger than him. It was bigger than him when it started, you know, and I always go back to what Candace used to say, you know, that text message, like, you know, she said to him, like, you know, I don't think you realize how big you're going to be, or something like that. I remember her sharing that. And that's exactly true. It got way bigger than him.
Yeah.
Way bigger. And it was at the hands of Tyler Boyer, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Sure. Do you remember? So this guy has said some pretty crazy things on camera. And one thing that a lot of people overlook, like using the term, so this is also like an old school, like moving west settler kind of term as well, which his lineage, right, goes back to some of the LDS that left the East Coast, and then first helped plant in Idaho, Utah, Arizona. And his family goes back like 7 generations. But one of the things he said, so they're very deeply connected, and so many LDS are in those states. But he said when he saw Charlie, in my opinion, when he says, I looked at Charlie and I go, I can hitch my wagon to that guy. That term for me, right, is like what I can get out of that guy. I can load my wagon up, my bank account, my house, my success, my career off that guy because he's going somewhere. I can't get there on my own. I have to hitch my wagon to him. He's going to take me there. And that is so eye-opening that's the statement he chose to actually divulge, that's what he thought. And I just, that just was very clear to me, the kind of person he was. He said other things, but that kind of just like.
When he met Charlie, he had already ruined his reputation within the Arizona political sphere. It was already tainted because of the mess with the MCRC, et cetera. You know, Charlie comes along and, you know, I believe Tyler may have been the MCRC chair when Charlie came along. I'm not sure. But when Charlie came along, he saw that.
Yeah.
That was the opportunity right there.
Yep.
And I have a backstory that not too many people know. And I've shared this before on my TikTok. That's where I started going viral and coming out about this stuff in December. So in Sedona, the whole state is corrupt. Sedona, CIA, FBI capital, retirement capital of the country. Okay.
Interesting.
Private jets always flying in and out, weird planes in and out. I mean, don't let the Red Rocks fool you guys. It's a facade of what really goes on. And there are tunnels and everything. And trust me.
Yep.
Yeah, for all the trafficking from the border, they take them right up to the resorts in Sedona. Just saying.
Yep.
But I lived in the same neighborhood as the Kadars, Andrea and Dwight Kadar. They are very influential GOP people. Very influential, very powerful, they have a lot of money. So when you get involved in Sedona, you go to Andrea and Dwight and you get connected and get plugged in. And that's what I did once. When I got the contract from TP Action, Dwight said, "How'd you do this? How'd you pull this off?" And it was interesting that he said that to me. I'm telling you, because I believe I've been being watched this
Mm.
whole entire time by these people. And I think they knew that I was really America first and all that. So
Yeah.
they start watching you,
Hmm.
and they'll send certain people in, like the Kadars. But I had a conversation with them at lunch, and she's like, "This is great. I'm so glad you're working for Turning Point." Dwight, on the other hand, was questioning, "How did I get in?" It's like, well, it's you're recruited off the streets. That's pretty much how you get in.
Hmm.
Um, she said, "Did you know that me and Dwight hosted Charlie when he first came to Arizona for 2 weeks?" I said, "No." She's like, "Yep, he stayed at our house." And I was like, "That's cool." And she's like, "And he brought and Tyler Boyer came up with him."
Tyler's the reason why Charlie moved the headquarters to Arizona.
Right. And Tyler had already known the Kadars.
Hmm. He's the one that set that up for Charlie.
So that's why they went up to Sedona when Charlie first got there.
Hmm.
And she told me, she's like, "We told him that he has a gift from God and that he needs to do this mission. And we donated to him, and on the Turning Point headquarters, the building is no longer, I believe, named the Kadar building, but it used to be named the Kadar building because they were one of his first donors."
Mm-hmm.
That's the backstory that I've heard from people in the GOP.
Are they LDS as well?
They are very pro Philly.
Okay.
And
Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh, no. Andrea would have a conversation with me. She's like, "So you're going to run for mayor?" And I'm like, "Yep." She goes, "And you do support Israel, right?" Oh, sorry. "You do support Philly, right?" I was like, she said it with such conviction, like
Yeah.
she's staring at me with daggers. And I'm like, "Yeah.
Yeah, I
Uh-huh."
know.
She goes, because the Bible says so." I'm like, "Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm." You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So that tells you right there, when this man came to Arizona,
Yeah, he didn't stand a chance.
he didn't stand a chance. They took his work, they took his legacy, they wanted him to build it so they could take it all from him. That's my
Yeah, I agree.
analysis and my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Um, I think that they would allow him to stay in as long as he said the right things and he did the right
Absolutely.
things. But the moment I think they probably had a plan B, C, D, E, F, like all the way, contingencies upon contingencies, depending on how and in what way would Charlie stray, right?
Right.
There's no way they're going to let something become that big, that powerful with that money. When people donate money like that, they believe they own it and they believe they own the person, right?
Right.
And so you thinking you have freedom that you can do what you want to do, Charlie, like you can say whatever you want, like yeah, it's
Yeah.
tragic.
Yeah. So that's the backstory. That's how I got in. That's how I got involved and working in the field. I saw it. They preach so much about character and God and the Bible and scripture and having character, getting married, at a young age, starting a family, etc. You get all these people in a room, all these 20-year-olds, all these 30-year-olds in a room, these Gen Zers, their egos are massive, massive egos.
Mhm.
Just look at Alex Clark. I mean, imagine Alex Clark with like 500 other employees, everybody who act just like her. That's what I dealt with.
I don't think
And
I
it
could.
was hard for me to deal with these
Mhm.
shills.
Yeah. Yeah.
Seriously. Um, so you get them in a room, and what do they start doing? They're preaching about their character. I love God, I love Jesus, and blah, blah, blah. But then the backbiting starts, and then they gossip about each other, and then they're having sex parties at the hotels, at the events, drugs, booze, etc. You name it. And it's like,
And that was common,
character,
right? Those
very.
parties. Yeah.
I did not witness them, but I have heard
Yeah.
certain stories from within the organization of what went down at these conferences and these summits.
Did Charlie know about that?
He addressed it. He addressed it like once, and it was a small little address, and it was like, we do have to get this under control.
Okay.
He did say that. Yes.
Do you
He
think
knew
that's also
about it.
okay? Do you think that's also what he meant? Have you read that email that he sent September 2nd, I think, the company-wide email where he gives Justin Strife the official position, and then he empowers Justin with 4 different major responsibilities, Doge-style effort, right? Reshaping company culture is the last bullet point. He ends on that. And I thought most people overlooked that part, and because they focus on the Doge style effort, which was important and it never happened. But the reshaping company culture made the very last thing that he ended on.
Absolutely. 100%. Because I'm telling you, I was witness to this company culture that he wanted to change.
Yeah, I believe that.
That Doge audit wasn't just the financials. He was auditing everything, the culture, all of it. All of it.
I agree with that. Oh man, I just lost it. I had it. Oh man. All right, it'll come back to me. Did you ever see any big like donors and people that frequented, inside the building a lot? People that held like major influence that now we would consider to be like totally pro Philly, not true America firsters.
No. So I was in headquarters a handful of times, but it was either to pick up material for the field, drop things off, and training. Of course, it was a 3-day training. But the head data analysis guy is our trainer as well. So Matthew Martinez, I clocked him a mile away when I walked in that building. Yeah. I knew. I'm like, okay, all right. And people were like, no, he's not gay. And I'm like, okay. The guy wears tight jeans than a woman does. I've seen him out. So I'm just like, right. All right. So I found that very interesting. But no, I never saw any of the big timers. I was really out in the field doing the work. And I was working full time at my other job. I was working full time at Turning Point, and then I would go in after being out in the field all day, and I would go to my serving job. And I worked my butt off.
Yeah.
I worked my butt off for this organization and President Trump to get him elected.
100% believe you. How did they pay you guys? The ones that were doing like all the heavy lifting, if I can ask that.
$45,000 a year was my contract.
Because we know how much they're making.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And it's a temporary contract, so you're not going to get the full 45,000.
What do you mean?
You're contracted. You're only contracted for the election cycle, and then when you're done, they take some of the field workers, the ones that they can manipulate and control, and they bring them on full time.
Interesting.
And then the ones that they can't, which was me, they were like pushing me out. And one of my friends who was just a field worker, she didn't work for CTV. She would always go to headquarters and just say, why aren't you guys making Matthew area manager? Why aren't you getting behind him for his mayoral race? Like, why? Like, his numbers were the highest in his area. He door knocked, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah, you can't control you.
Can't control me.
You're not going to play by their rules.
I'm not going to play by their rules.
Yeah.
No. So it was short-lived at Turning Point, but being in the political sphere since 2020, doing activism, being around these people, in my short time at Turning Point was enough for me to gather a lot of things. And I have released a lot of receipts and a lot of proof of the culture and how the numbers were skewed for Tyler Boyer's app, the Turning Point app.
Like that's connected to Superfeed.
Superfeed Technologies is what fuels the Turning Point app.
Yeah.
Okay. So Superfeed Technologies, this is why the data needs to be high for Tyler, because he's on the board. He's getting kickbacks from Superfeed. We got Lori Francefey, Erika's mother, on the board for Superfeed Technologies as well. So in a data company, if your numbers are low, you're not getting paid. So there's a reason why they're pushing these voter data, this data harvesting, etc., geofencing. That there's a reason for it. It's making them money. You think just because the donors are donating and they're getting, regular people are donating $25 for this and buying merch, you think that's where they really get their money from? No, it's the data.
Yeah.
It's the data. It's the Superfeed Technologies. Tyler knew Lori Francefey and Erika before he met Charlie. This whole thing, if you can't just step back and look at this from a wide view, it was all planned from the beginning. Just look at it. And
sorry, go ahead.
And then, so we're having like a hard time in my area with the other field reps to get the numbers up for people that drop their ballots for early voting. And so my manager called a meeting and said, hey, Lucy Wheat, who is the vice president of the Yavapai County GOP committee, which is my county in my area, was on my team, along with Senator Justine Watzak. She said, Lucy's got the data already from the GOP office and from the county recorder's office. We're going to plug it into our streak so that headquarters could leave me alone, because they're after, like, so this, and I'm like, who's telling you to do this? She goes, I'm getting pressured by headquarters because we're not meeting our numbers.
Which would be Tyler.
Which would be Tyler. So she reported to Lacey Nagao, who's the CTV director, and then she also reported to Tyler Boyer. Those were her bosses, or two direct bosses. So Lucy Wheat from the GOP had the data already before the election of who dropped their ballots already for early voting. We plug it into the Turning Point app and into our streak on Google. I didn't. I met my numbers, but they did give me extra numbers to plug in, even though I met my benchmark, which was 280. And ironically, my numbers were at 333. So
just because,
and we plugged it in. And therefore, imagine if my county is doing this and my area is doing it, how many areas and counties are doing the same exact thing around our country? And that's why when Trump won, Turning Point took full credit.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Turning Point, did we get out and do the work? Yes. And do I believe it was because of Turning Point? Okay, yes. But they lied about the numbers still. We got people to vote, but we took data in my county, at least, that the GOP already had. Yeah. That's what I witnessed. And I told my manager, I said, I don't feel comfortable doing this, but she's like, my hands are tied.
Huh.
Lacey's coming down. I mean, she would play recordings and voicemails from Lacey Nagao, and she would record the meetings. I wish I had this, but she and I haven't talked in a while, but we do talk. I don't think she saved them, but she had shown me stuff during this time, how nasty these people were to her, how nasty they were, how nasty Lacey was and talking down to her. I mean, it just, the amount of the audacity and hypocrisy coming from this organization. I've heard it firsthand. They treated us like crap and garbage.
Yeah. I have a couple questions. So Tyler was pardoned, right? Was it Tyler and Seth Dillon?
Tyler was pardoned. Yeah. Tyler was pardoned.
Yeah. And Tyler's building was separate from Charlie's, right? Charlie had like where his like little studio was, where Mikey, McCoy, and Andrew Kolvet.
So headquarters, I believe, has 1, 2, 3 buildings.
Yeah, they just bought like 1 or 2 more.
Yeah, so I want to say 3 when I was there, 3 or 4 buildings. Of course, they got to play it right. We got to keep the political arm separate from the TPUSA arm. Yeah. So yes, Tyler's office was separate than TPUSA's office, but it's all one same thing. It's the same thing.
It's the same campus. So to speak.
They call it. It's a campus.
Correct.
It's a Turning Point campus.
Correct. With separate buildings. But I mean, Charlie wouldn't have had like day-to-day interaction with Tyler unless like there was political things happening on those days. Like he's doing all his other stuff that he's doing, his TPUSA stuff, TPUSA Faith stuff, his show, all the other stuff.
They were keeping him. I mean, he was busy.
Yes.
Busy. He was untouchable. He was real. The only time I think we were at an event and he was running by all of us and he was just like, shake the hand. I wish I would have had a conversation with the man.
Yeah.
But
they made sure that couldn't happen though.
I know. They didn't want oh no, they didn't want us. I know.
Especially his last like 6 months. They kept him really, really busy. He said once he was on the road 325 days a year. He took 3 days off.
Right.
Let me get this super chat and we'll continue. I got a bunch of questions too that I got written down. If you guys want to get super chats that you want to ask Matt, please get them in as we go. I can't get to the live chat. It's going to be moving too quick. So if you guys have questions, or for me, but Matt's here. So he's the guest and he's the one that I would ask questions. All right. This one is from Jim Bear. Tonight's stream is important. Appreciate both Matts for having the hard conversations and bringing transparency to all of this. Thank you, Jim Carey. I like your photo from Ace Ventura.
Ace Ventura. Such a classic, man. Such a classic.
Did you ever meet Stacy Sheridan? I know she was like head of, gifts and donations. Did you ever meet her?
No, I did not. No.
With the whole Massey thing, you were there when Charlie was still and Turning Point was actually still supporting and endorsing Massey in 24, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
What do you make of the complete 180 after Charlie's gone?
There's no way Charlie would have ever stood for what has happened to Thomas Massey.
But Thomas Massey didn't vote for the big, beautiful bill, Matt. That's what Andrew said.
That's what Andrew said. So therefore,
yes.
Yeah. That's what Andy. That's what I call him, Andy.
Andy.
Yeah, I made a Toy Story meme of him, dressed him up as
Toy
Story Andy.
Yeah, I love that. That was so
Charlie
good.
Kirk desk with his legs kicked up on Charlie's desk.
That's 100% him and his like energy every time he goes on his show. But yeah, he said that. And again, so this is what, and you and I talked about this, right? Anytime they try to claim that Charlie had a private conversation where he said something new, brand new, that he had never said privately or publicly ever before, you should already start to go like, nah, you're lying. Like, or you could just, like you told me in our phone call, this is one of the things we did talk about was show us the text, Andy. Hey, Andy, show us the text that you're talking about, or the audio or the phone call or the email, something where Charlie was so mad that Massey didn't sign the big, beautiful bill that he would have completely turned and not endorsed him and not helped him get reelected.
Yeah. These private conversations, when I release stuff and I say, hey, I've had this conversation, blah, 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 with this Turning Point insider, and this is what Tyler said to this individual, right? And I say it, I'm like, it was a private conversation, but because of the mission and the investigation, here, let me just take her name, this individual's name out,
Right.
but I will show you the conversation and you can take the photo and actually analyze it to make sure, yes, it is a screenshot of an actual text message.
Yep.
And that's another thing too. When these people start saying, oh, you made those text messages up, there's actually equipment out there where you can analyze the photo that it's a screenshot of a text message and not a text created with AI.
Right.
And people just, it's I would never do that. Just with the technology today, I would never fake a text message.
Yeah.
They would easily tell.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you'd lose all credibility.
Exactly. But they think we're stupid. They think we're stupid. That's the problem.
We're all just so evil that we're just making everything up just to make
we're
them
all
look bad.
We're all GOYIM to them.
We are. We are. I mean, that's what's interesting with have you heard of the Noahide laws?
I've heard of them, but
I've been doing some
delve into it too much, but yeah.
So like within the Jewish religion, right? Whether that be within the Talmud or some of like their other writings, not just the Old Testament, right? There's this one rabbi, and he's the one that really made this like really modern. And in fact, it got Reagan put it into, he either like recognized him and then it went into legislation under Bush. Bush one did it. But it is the only thing that will keep us non-Jews from being like burned up after their real Messiah comes back. And that if we adhere to these 7 Noahide laws, they will allow us to be their servants.
Yeah.
We can serve them.
We can serve. Yeah.
We'll be happy. We'll be happy.
Yeah. We've been serving them for years already. So, I mean, I don't.
Oh, Charlie's Angels. Hey, Matt and Matt. I know, right? And I think Matt and friends with Matt is here too. We got like 3 Matts. That would be
3 Matts in the house.
That would be a crazy live someday. The 3 Matts. Hey, Matt and Matt. What do you think of the VI team? Do you know what VI means?
VI and what they're doing now.
VI team and what they're doing now. Were they prepping for big productions? P.S. I sent you an XDM tip.
She did. And Charlie's Angels, Mitch told me to actually reach out to you as well. And so did friends with Matt's. So
yeah. Charlie's Angels is dope.
Yeah. So, hey, look, I have to vet people now. I just don't know who's coming, and no, Mitch told me, no, reach out. And yes, Charlie's Angels, I got your DM. Let me see what you're saying.
And then maybe Charlie, also, since I don't want you to put a whole nother super chat in just to explain what VI meant, DM Matt what you meant by VI, because I want to answer that, but I don't know what it means.
Yeah, please DM me right now, Charlie's Angels, if you're on X. I love the videos you guys did. I'm pattern recognizer. VI. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, she says here, it says photo guys. Visual impulse. What's that?
Visual impulse.
I don't know what that is. Let's see if she wrote something else. Photo guys, visual impulse. No, that's it. I'll have to look that up. I don't know what visual impulse means. Is that like I don't know. Well, she said VI team, right? Let me pull that back up real quick. Hey, Matt and Matt, what do you think of the VI team?
Tyler Farnsworth and the video sound crew, Philip Goldsberry, all the staff on the ground that day.
Oh. Okay, so I'll let Matt go first, and then I'll go. From September 10th, have you seen the UVU video? Have you seen all the different angles of the different behavior from Philip and Terrell that day?
I've seen a lot. Yeah, I've seen, I've seen a lot, like, when it first all started coming out.
Yeah.
Like lately, I have a hard time reliving that day.
Agreed.
I don't like to look at that video. I don't like to look at the angles. You know, I always say, hey, there's ballistic experts out there right now handling it. You
Yep.
know, Aaron handles the law. Candace is doing this. I'm culture. I don't want to see that video. I just don't.
Yep. Yeah, I don't watch the
It
part where
traumatized me, devastated me. I never had one conversation with that man, but I saw him so close all the time, and I just could not leave my house after. But
Erika could.
Yeah,
but Erika was doing a Zoom call meeting talking about, oh my gosh, look at the emojis down there. I didn't know you could do that on Zoom, but I have all this experience within the, professional sector, but I didn't know. I've never done a Zoom before. It's
yeah. I know, like, from that day, I knew from that day. So let me give the viewers a little perspective about that day. I knew it was off. I saw the hand gestures right away before everybody started talking about it. I saw it all. I'm just sitting here. I'm like, what the heck is this? Like, you know, and of course that day I had to keep watching him do this 20 times. And I'm just like, I will say, it's all off. The videos are off that day too. It's interesting that you have an audience of all these Gen Zers and millennials in the audience, but there's only a few videos from that day. It's interesting, isn't it?
I mean, Blake and some other people have said that there's a lot of people that are afraid. They have videos. They're afraid to come forward because of different things that people on the ground, that are connected to either the FBI, the Utah County Attorney's Office, or TPUSA, the security team. Because when Frank did his back to UVU, trying to be Charlie, he went back just, I don't know, a few months ago. He intentionally, they advertised it to witnesses that were there. They wanted people that were there that day to come back, and they interviewed them. Right. And they got them in there anytime. So did you know that September 10th, I think it was the memorial was the first time they used the geocaching technology that's in the Clock Tower X Show Faith by Works far filing. And so any event after that, the Make Heaven Crowded events, and it's at all of our college campuses, most of our churches within certain states, and any TPUSA event you go to, your phone is cooked. And they wanted those people, witnesses that they didn't know what they had. They wanted them back. Super sketch.
Yeah. I remember, when I joined in 2024, the development of all that was underway.
Yeah. In the works. Yeah.
In the works. I remember Matthew Martinez talking about like all of this stuff. We're going to have the best data analysis app ever, and data collection, and like he was all for it, and it was in the works. Isn't it interesting? It was in the works just months before, about a year before.
Yeah. In a digital age, in this increasing more digital age, data is gold.
Yeah.
Data is everything. Companies pay millions and millions of dollars for what we spend our time on, what we click on, what we search, and having an organization like TPUSA. And I think that is a huge reason why Erika Kirk, at the time, Erika Franzwe, and her mom went to Philly for the embassy moving when Charlie was there with Candace, and they saw him. Because remember, later she'll say at a different time, she went there to find a husband, which is so weird. And then saw him and then was like, oh my gosh, that's him. But I didn't get to meet him. And then Tyler, did you know Tyler set them up on 3 different occasions? There were 2 meets at the headquarters. One, they didn't actually get to really meet. One, they did get to meet. And then the final Bob's or Bill's Burger, all set up by Tyler freaking Boyer.
Yeah.
Who she knew before. She knew him since before 2015, because she had to call him he had to call her to set her up at the rally and put her right there behind him, or, behind the podium.
Right.
And so
highly suspicious.
Yeah, and I think that they knew that. I mean, they probably knew so much about Charlie and what would work and what wouldn't work. Unfortunately, just like they're watching you, they're watching so many of us. Like they for sure were watching Charlie. They knew his like strengths and weaknesses, and I think that getting Erika in was a way to Trojan horse all of Lori France's like companies and technologies in and give access to this organization. This is everything we're saying in tonight's episode, by the way, is our opinions. We're not trying to make statements of fact. It's our opinions. We don't need a cease and desist letter from TPUSA. Thank you very much.
Well, I don't. Well, you know what, Matt? I might be getting one very soon with the traction I'm doing on X, but we'll see.
I actually, if you were to look at my video like archive on here, it's all TPUSA, Erika Kirk, and Andrew Kolvet, Blake Neff. I'm really small, thank goodness. But I mean, they also sent it out to people that you would think like wolves in finance. I mean, he's big though. He has a pretty big reach. And I mean, Jimmy Dore just shouted him out on Tucker Carlson, so that's crazy.
Yeah.
But,
no, I mean, it's the last couple days have been interesting, but Candace Owens did quote my post, and that did get
some traction.
Yeah. Very grateful for Candace, and she didn't have to do that, but you know what? Yeah. So Mitch said, she said, good work. So that's it.
Yeah. And Mitch is going through hell right now.
He's going through. Y'all say some prayers for Mitch. I talked to him this morning. He's got a lot going on. I feel for him.
I don't want to say too much because I know he doesn't want to say too much because saying anything at all has been the issue.
I try not to talk too much about Mitch, but
but the state of Washington is shady, man.
Yeah,
what they're doing is shady within the legal system.
Yep.
All right, let me read this. We got Brett Booth. Did the Arizona State Republican or representative? What is RP?
Arizona State rep,
who accused Tyler Boyer of being Mossad, have any evidence to back up that claim?
I know who I know exactly what they're talking about. That is Liz Harris, the RNC. She was an Arizona State rep in 2023. She was only like seated for like a couple months before she got unsat and expelled from her seat. Okay. The backstory, it's really complicated, but I know there's a lot of people out there that watch me from Arizona. You all know what I'm talking about. Pretty much she had all this evidence on like cartels, and she was like us, to be honest, in the beginning when I first met Liz Harris. And what happened was this evidence, they were supposed to wait to release this evidence on the floor of the Senate building. Okay. And what happened is Liz was impatient, I believe, and went for it. And it screwed up a lot of things. And so therefore they expelled her for what happened and removed Liz Harris. That's the gist. It's a very interesting story. Just go look up 22323 Liz Harris on Google or Chat GPT or Grok, whatever. You'll look at this whole scoop. But she is now interesting. She gets removed, right? Then she gets elevated back up to the RNC National Committee woman representing Arizona. So she is the Arizona RNC committee woman. So she is like, in the RNC, you got your states and you got your delegates, right? Mm-hmm. She is like the top. She's the committee woman for the entire state. So she's So she gets elevated to that position somehow, right? I mean, interesting.
She went to Philly and they rehabilitated her.
Right. So I'm doing a project with Liz Harris actually in 2024 before I went to Turning Point. And she was actually one of the other people that warned me about Turning Point and Tyler Boyer and how they're connected to Mossad. I actually recorded our conversation, and Stu Peters released it in, I want to say, when I went on Stu's show a few months ago. And it got like, I think, 1 million views. So pretty much called out Liz Harris. Here's the thing. She said all these things about Mossad and Charlie being connected to the Teneo group and all of that, right?
Mhm.
And just said they're bad people, blah, 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 blah. And now she's working with Tyler Boyer and doing her political thing because she is trying to still stay relevant. So she may know they're bad, but she's just right there with them. But I think there's something very sketchy about Liz Harris, because this is for another time. But I was in a situation with her, and I'm going to tell you right now, she is not a woman of integrity. She is not a politician of integrity at all. She is a liar and a snake. And I'm going to say that right now. And I know there's people in Arizona watching, and I know she keeps tabs on me too. So I'm going to tell you right now, it's weird that she said all this stuff about them, and now all of a sudden she's working, trying to get certain people elected that Turning Point is endorsing. So she's working alongside with them to get these people elected. None of it makes sense. She did not like Philly. She never did. It's in the recordings that Stu released, and that I had other recordings that I released. So is there evidence? It's my opinion based off of what a prominent political figure in Arizona said. And it's in a recording. So
do you think I mean, it seems like Charlie was like a fish out of water in a way. Do you think he was extremely naive, ignorant, or do you think he thought he could make like a difference? Like he could actually like change people? Because like in this day and age, the majority of politicians, right, are like the Ted Cruzes, the Lindsey Grahams, the Lori Cardozo Moores, the outliers, the unicorns are Marjorie Taylor Greene and Massey, right?
right.
This is the space that Charlie was in, and he was rubbing elbows with all of these people. Do you think that he was extremely naive and ignorant, or that he thought he could, like, I don't know, change them or make a difference? And what's your perspective on that? Because you've been in the scene, you know how toxic it is.
When you start taking donor money, that's really hard to leave. It's really hard to get out. It's very hard to get out when you start taking donor money. Big donor money, I mean. You know, when you start taking that level of money into your organization, you can't get out. There's only one way out.
Yeah. It's like that.
At that point. And I think I really want to just say that he caught on. Charlie caught on. I believe he knew a long time. And I think at that point, it's like, I either go out or I go out just starting to tell the truth. And I think that's kind of where it was heading for him. I think he just said, you know what? I might as well start switching. And who knows? Who knows? He could have known about this for a very long time. He could have been caught up in the corruption himself and then had a change of heart. But I really do believe he had a change of heart. And I think that's when they were like, okay, goodbye.
Yeah.
And I know that level of control just from running for one mayor. And then the GOP approached me and said, oh, you need to run for state rep. Like, screw the mayor race. And I'm like, okay. So I dropped out of the mayor race. Next thing you know, I'm registering now to run for the House of Representatives of Arizona in 2025. I announced it, and then I was going to run in this election, 2026. So I did it. I switched over, completely changed my whole campaign strategy and everything, and got involved with the GOP again. But the minute I said yes, and I started to file the paperwork and get endorsements, I was endorsed by Sheriff Joe Arpaio. Okay, he's 94 years old now. If you don't know Sheriff Joe, he's the toughest America's toughest sheriff. Okay, he is responsible heavily for putting a lot of cartel people away. Okay, I like the guy. I think he's been duped too, and he's older now. He just doesn't know.
Yeah.
So I give Sheriff Joe Arpaio my hat all the time. I love the guy. He's a good guy. So Sheriff Joe's giving me the contacts, but the thing is all of a sudden the GOP then switches on me and starts pulling up my activism history of getting arrested for the mask mandates and like throwing that in my face. And then, dealing with a corrupt cop and saying, look at him, he's fighting with a cop. He's supposed to back the blue and all that. I'm like, do you really think all cops are good cops? Okay.
Right.
Let's be real. I also wanted to do prison reform. Okay. I wanted to do prison reform. Sheriff Joe, as a conservative, also said we need to reform prisons. And that's not a very conservative thing to do. Okay. That's really not.
Yeah.
And I was like, I actually did an analysis. I was using AI to like get an analysis of how much money we are spending, tax dollars, going to prisons, etc., putting people away for drugs when we can put them in rehab facilities and take the tax dollars and build rehab facilities.
It's a big business. Prisons, a big business.
So much money. Oh, they did not want to hear that come out of my mouth as a conservative.
No,
at all.
Yeah.
So the GOP starts coming after me. Liberals are leaving me alone. They're leaving me alone. And
do you think TPUSA was behind any of that?
TPUSA would not endorse me.
Yeah. Do you think they helped?
I believe so. They were pulling the strings with the GOP. Absolutely.
I mean, look what they were doing.
Discredit my reputation. 100%. I believe they recruited me off. They threw me. I could have won mayor. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm looking right now in Sedona of what's going on in Sedona. I could have won mayor. I'm going to tell you all that right now. I could have won this year.
Yeah.
I think they pulled me off my tracks on purpose. They distracted me. And then my last straw was this. I was at a meeting at the Women's Republicans of Yavapai County. I think that's what it is. There's all these little Republican clubs, and they're usually, you want to know who the guards are, and they don't even know that they're the guards for the elites. It's the baby boomers in these precincts, and they don't even know it. You got to get past these 75-year-old women, and they're usually women in precincts. You got to get past that. And when they don't like you, you all know I'm not a chauvinistic, sexist pig, okay?
Yeah.
Women will do what they can to destroy you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm going to just say that right there.
Yeah, not all women, but some of them, yeah.
But no, when they, Yeah. I'm not trying to.
No, you're good.
But they use the women, though, because they know women have that switch. They have that, they're using all of us, everybody, okay? Not just men. They're using the women as well to do the bidding.
Yeah.
And it was always the older women that would come after me. It was never the men. It was never the young people. It was always the baby boomer women that were always coming after me. So I'm at a meeting. I'm giving a speech, and I'm doing my spiel about the Constitution and giving real insight on the Constitution. And you should have saw the audience. Well, they didn't know what to think because they've never heard anybody talk about the Constitution the way I did. And then my political advisor said to me before we walked in there, he said, listen, there's 5 people I planted in here that are going to ask you questions. Here are the questions, and this is what you're to answer. Here are your talking points. Then he said, at the end, I'm going to ask you a question, but I'm going to read something. And I'm like, well, what is it? He goes, you'll find out. I said, okay. So I give my speech, and then it comes for Q&A. We go through Q&A, and then we get to my political advisor. And then he said, he pretended not to know me. I pretended not to know him. And he's like, young man, I must say you write good articles. And I'm like, I have not written an article. What is he talking about? I'm just at the podium like, oh God, you can see, I got a video. I'll send it to you tonight, Matt. And I'm like, my leg, you can see my feet just like uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then he said, he just goes on and on. He talks about World War II. And then he talks about Heimlich Himmler. And I'm like, here we go. This is where we're going. Oh gosh, he's naming Germans. Holy crap. And he goes, in your article defending Philly, I really want to say this word, Matt, just because it makes my statement so much stronger. But you all know what I'm talking about. The country overseas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And your full support, and we must support them. And I loved what you said in your article, and you are in full support of that. My jaw dropped. The lady behind me, she knew I didn't say that. She's on camera and she's just laughing, and she had to turn her head in embarrassment. These people embarrassed me. They humiliated me is what they did that day. And that was the last straw. And then I backed out, and then an attorney friend of mine, not a friend, actually, I should just say somebody that I know that was also a political advisor, David Stringer. Y'all look him up. Somebody's actually exposed him for who he is. He called me into his office and he said, are you gonna run, or what are you doing? And I said, I don't want to run. I said, I'm broke. I put $25,000 into this already. Y'all yanked me around from mayor to running for House of Reps. No donors have come forward, and you're still wanting me to run when I'm broke and you won't get me donors. I don't know what to tell you. And then he said, okay, well, he goes, how about this? You put in 25,000 already. I'm going to match that. I'm going to start you off with $25,000 again to put in your coffers. And then we'll increase it. And we need to raise about $125,000 to beat the incumbent. I said, okay, so you're going to give me 25,000. I said, yes. And whoever brings money forward for you, I will match them. I said, okay. I said, but there's one thing there's one thing that I am not going to support, David. And I said, I'm not going to support Philly.
Yeah.
I'm not going to support them. And he goes, that's fine. You don't need to support them, but you need to keep your mouth shut about it. And I said, no. I go, I'm already seeing the problems. And this is well before I even made my final judgment on President Trump, who I got elected. Okay. I already started seeing the problems. I said, I'm not, David. No. And he goes, well, think it over and get back to me. He's like, come on, Matt. It's money. It's money. It's money. And that's when I went home. I gave it a week. I packed up my things and I said, I need to get the hell out of Arizona. This is scary now. This isn't right. And that's when I left in December. And that's when I got to a secure location, that's when I came out about Charlie Kirk and about my experience at Turning Point.
Yeah. I mean, that shaming thing, I forget. I don't know if it was, there's like a term for it with the politicians that they, Philly and APAC and, the different, funders and donors and stuff will make people like force, I forget the term. Let me hop over and see if someone will say it in the chat when I bring it up. But I definitely believe that they did that with Trump, before. I mean, he made his bed and he chose the direction that he's going. And I even, made the argument that this was the plan the whole time. If you read his book, The Art of the Deal, it seems that he created a lot of fear and leverage from the GOP and the establishment and and Philly, so that he could negotiate the most beneficial deals for him and his family in the private and, business sector, afterwards. But you see, what's his name? Mark Levin, when he gets up there and he like manhandles Trump and he's like the first Jewish president, he like grabs him. And if you know Trump, every time you see him shake people's hands, he grabs it and then pulls them in, right? Like he's always trying to position himself from a place of dominance and leverage and like power. I don't think he liked that at all. And then, but he sold himself with Miriam and, that whole thing, that whole country. What do you think? Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You might be asking a question where I'm heading anyways. So,
well, if not, then you go, but I'll tell you what I was going to ask, regarding the most recent phone call that supposedly Trump like calls and yells at Bibi. And then now supposedly there's an article that just came out that Andrew on TPUSA, on, the Real America's Voice the other day, read that, we're aware that Philly is engaging in espionage and we're going to stop it.
Now they're coming out and saying, yeah, because they're losing their base.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah. Total tactic.
They think we're stupid. Again, they think we're stupid. They think we're stupid. GOYIM. They think we're stupid.
Yep.
We're done.
Yeah.
It's just like, no, they're losing their base. That's a simple answer. They're losing their base. And I had, leading into that, I have a hard time. I have a really hard time because you know what? I got really awesome friends in Washington, D.C. Like my friend who worked on the Reagan administration. Her father, too, was part of the Warren Commission during the 60s. And she had said to me, she said, Matt, we were ran out of Dallas. And I said, why? And she said, because my father was one of the ones who started questioning about the JFK thing and said, I don't think we should put this report out. I think it's incomplete. And they had to. She told me these stories and it's crazy. So, but she's still holding on, and people are still holding on to President Trump, and I feel bad, because I know she's watching this right now, and we don't talk about it. We're still friends. We're going to be awesome friends forever. She's given me so much wisdom, and she's pushing me to be a patriot. She's pushing me to do this. Actually, her and I disagree on things, but that's it. We're still friends, and she's helping me out tremendously with still connections that I might need. And I'm just going to say, I do feel bad for those that can't see it yet, and hopefully one day they will. But at best right now, I think you got people who are just questioning and teeter-tottering because it's so hard to leave that paradigm and so hard to be duped the way we were. I mean, to accept that dupe and that faith that, hey, yeah, we were duped. So I just hope that people just actually just wake up and realize that like our two-party system has failed us. Our government has failed us. The whole entire system has been corrupt. People want to say, oh, it's been corrupt for, Obama and then started with the Bushes. And I'm like, no, guys, you guys need to go way, way, way back in history.
Yep.
Way back. You need to go back to certain things that happened during the Civil War, certain things that happened after the Civil War.
Yep.
Okay. And you need to go way back to that and realize like we are under a overlay. I like to call it our current government that we know of is an overlay of what the Republic is.
Yeah.
It's covering the Republic is what it's doing.
Yeah.
Our old system's still there, everybody. it's just an overlay right now of what we've been dealing with since probably the Civil War.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say. And
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
that's what I want to bring into politics. I want to bring into the American people to understand their history and to understand exactly what's going on. But you do that, you start doing that, and that's when trouble starts coming your way, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, change is hard, and truth is difficult to accept sometimes when it's this, when you realize that it's this systemic and it goes back this long. But when you look into what really were some of the, I mean, so many people wanted JFK gone. Same with Charlie Kirk. Very, very similar groups of people and, departments of government. But one of the major things that I think they both ran up against were the Rothschilds, right? JFK was going to make Philly register for FARA, right, as a
Yep.
foreign agent, and
Yep.
was not going to let them get a nuclear weapon, even though they stole our nuclear material to jumpstart their own plant. But he was setting up for us to go over there and to like check it, and he didn't want us to be tied. JFK didn't want us to be tied and married with Philly like we became after his assassination, and Lyndon Baines made everything happen. But he didn't want us to alienate the other Arab countries, and he didn't want to alienate Russia either. But when you look at like the Schofield Bible, which was created by the Rothschilds and funded by the Rothschilds, which is the Bible that brought forth Zionism to us and Judeo-Christian, the term Judeo-Christian values, and really just brainwashing a whole generation of Protestants. People could do more research to help undoctrinate themselves, but it would take a lot of time, energy, and bravery too, because it means you'd have to admit first that you accepted this lie for so long, and a lot of people don't want to do that. But even I think that's one of the things that Charlie struggled with, because if he was an autodidact, very well read, a man of history, right? He would have looked into the JFK assassination and some of the alternative theories, not just the mainstream theories. He was going hard on Jeffy Epi, and Jeffy Epi, guess who's in those emails? Nathaniel Rothschild. Okay, and he was going max on the Jeffy Epi files. Charlie was, and so. Yeah, I don't know how much he knew about the creation of like Zionism and, Judeo-Christian, theology here in the United States with Protestants. And if that's why maybe he was flirting with Catholicism, that he was surrounded by a lot of these like Calvary Chapel mocking pastors like Greg Laurie, Jack Hibbs, Rob McCoy, and when you're in, could you imagine what it would have been like to become aware in the middle of all that and realize like, whoa, I'm in like the deepest part of the ocean and there's like massive great whites circling me and my leg is bleeding and they can smell blood in the water.
Yeah. When you get that big and then you start coming out about that's actually really dangerous, to be honest. People like me and us, like, we can say those certain things, we'll get flack, but I don't think we're gonna get killed for it
because we didn't have the influence and the reach.
Exactly. But yeah, I think Charlie could have also too been in that GATE program as a kid, So I think he was. I think they could have been watching him his whole life.
Yeah,
he's living, and he's living. It's the Truman Show. This guy, this young guy, he's younger than me. I still used to call him a young man because he is younger than me. But this amazing young man, I believe, also too could have been really from the beginning, from childhood, groomed, etc., for something like this.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when you snap out of it, you know, if you read Kathy O'Brien's books, okay, she's one of the ones that talk about the MK Ultra and her being under a spell and
Mhm.
what George Bush and President Clinton and all of them did to her,
Mhm.
etc. Um, when you snap out of it, it's usually hard for the person that's controlling you that did the MK Ultra on you. It's usually hard for that individual or that group that did it to you to go back. So I think when you snap out and they realize it, they're coming for you
Yeah.
because you can't get it's hard to reprogram.
Yeah.
But Kathy talks about this in her book. She's like, you know, once the switch is back on, you can't turn it, you know,
Mhm.
off again.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I highly recommend reading her books, Kathy
Matthew
O'Brien.
O'Brien. Yeah.
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 Yeah. That will help you understand a little bit about the GATE program and the MK Ultra and where it really starts. And they literally grab you in school, people. They really do. So
Yeah, you definitely get marked.
and yeah, and when you are smart and intelligent, but can't be controlled,
Mhm.
right? They put you where they put you. Oh, you gotta every hour now. This is what they did to me because they couldn't control me when I was little.
Mhm.
I remember the tests. I remember the binaural beats and all that and
Mhm.
going through the testing. Okay. And really the results were great, right? So you would think they would keep me in regular classes. No, they separated me, but they actually said, well, he's got a learning disability. So we are going to separate him
Mm.
and pull him out of class and humiliate him and make him feel like, you know, he's around all the dumb kids. Like that's what they do. The ones you can't control, but smart,
Mhm.
intelligent, they will put you into a lower level and say, you know, you need, what is it called? ESL, the
Yeah.
ESL. Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah. You know, the not so gifted
Yeah.
class. That's what happened to me. And then they put me on Adderall or not Adderall, Ritalin.
Mhm.
And, you know, my mom took me off of Ritalin at like 9. She like had enough. She was like, I'm done. Like, you know, they started putting me on Ritalin at like 6.
That's crazy. I see it
Yeah.
all the time in my field of work. It's nuts.
Yeah.
It's synthetic methamphetamine. So,
Yeah, it is.
you know.
But mom took me off of it and then got into high school. And next thing you know, it's interesting. She made sure because she moved me down to Florida. So she made sure to really leave all those records back up in
Mm.
upstate New York. My mom's awesome. She's a wonderful
Is
woman.
that where you're from?
Upstate New York, yeah.
What part?
Syracuse.
Okay. I used to go to Saranac Lake and Tupper Lake and Lake
Oh,
Placid.
nice.
Um,
Nice.
I had a stepdad that had property up there. All right, keep going. Sorry. She left the files
Yeah.
in upstate New York.
Pretty much, yeah. And next thing you know, I'm in AP classes in high school. I'm in honors
Mhm.
classes. You know, I'm off the Ritalin. I'm off everything. I'm getting good grades. But the thing is they're coming after me at school. I'm, you know, he's misbehaving. He's debating with the teachers. He's, you know, talking back to us. He's not following the rules. He walked on the courtyard grass and we gave him IS. Literally, I walked on the courtyard grass once by accident and they suspended me for 2 days. I mean, crazy crap like that. That's what they
Yeah.
were doing to me. And then my last week in my senior year, I had an AP test after class, right? I said to my assistant principal, I said, I know I have detention for being tardy to class 2 weeks ago. And now I know I have enough tardies. Now I know I have detention. I go, but detention's going to conflict with my AP testing. I need to take this AP test. It's for college. It's for college credit. And she said, well, you know, if you don't show up to detention, we're going to have to discipline you. I go, but I have an AP test. It's conflicting. I'll come in on Saturday. I'll give up a weekend. What do you want me to do? And she goes, you make your own decision. I made my decision. I went and took that AP test. I got my college credit. And you know what they did? The last day of school during senior send off, they made me clean the school. And
Yep.
I had straight A's. I had straight A's. My mother was down there livid. She wanted to choke the principal. They had to call in the resource officer because my mother was ready to flip the desk. That's what they did to me my last day of senior high school. And my friends, because I was popular because I was a debater. I ran for, class council, etc. My friends, when my pictures came up on send off, they were like, "Shame on you, Miss Norton. Shame, shame." I mean, my friends were like screaming, like, "Shame on you. He should be here today. He should be here." And as they're out there barbecuing, I'm cleaning. That's what they did to me. This is what happens, everybody, when they can't control you. I've been dealing with this my whole entire life.
Yeah. The education system is built off the Prussian system. And it's about creating good little cogs in the wheel. It's about like classical and operant conditioning, right? Like a bell rings, you have to be here at this time. It's to create good workers for this system, right? That know how to show up, know how to obey. You better sit down, sit there for this amount of time. If you want to talk, you got to raise your hand. You got to wait to be called on. If we don't like what you got to say, we can tell you to be quiet. And if you speak out of turn, then you're going to go to the principal's office, and enough disciplinary things, you're going to get kicked out of school. It's all about creating obedience and, social, control. It's
Right.
a system. And yeah, it's sad. I do want to say that I do know, because I do have a lot of families here, people in the community that have kids that are either on the spectrum, which are the kids that I work with, and kids with ADHD that, it's not a one size fits all. Yes, some families with some kids, you need to be on medication, but it's not for every kid. And I think back in the 80s and 90s, a lot of the times they were doing it when they didn't have to. And I would just recommend, they wanted to put me on it just because I had a lot of energy. I was getting S's, satisfactory or N's in my behavior within school.
Right.
I was kind of the same kind of thing. I talked back, I asked questions, argued. I just was lucky my mom didn't put me on it, but it doesn't work for everyone, but I do understand that it does work for some people. So I'm just saying that.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I'm going to answer this question because I never got to say my part about the visual audio photography team, Terrell Farnsworth and Philip Goldsberry. Definitely. And then we just saw a recent new video where Dan Flood actually looks over at Mikey right before the Big Bang, right?
Yep.
And Mikey's on his phone and
Yep.
And they lock eyes, right?
Lock eyes. Yep. Sorry,
ahead.
I didn't mean to interrupt.
Go ahead. No, you're okay. Go ahead.
And then the Mikey does the phone call,
turn and walk away.
Turns and walks away. Yeah.
0.83 seconds or something like that. Less than a second. He's already got the phone to his ear. Didn't even have enough time to dial. So whoever was on the phone was on the phone. You have issues with the audio visual, like the speakers and the mic. And I went back to all previous events that are up. So many have been taken down. But even especially just the ones from 2025, which would be the modern system that they had in September at UVU, never did Charlie's handheld mic have any kind of negative feedback with his lapel mic. UVU's the first and only time that I found, and I watched hundreds of hours. But what you see is there's constant issue with the mic and the speakers, right? So this is for the video. His lapel mic was to record the audio for the videos that were going to be, distributed after the fact. And then the handheld mic was for the speaker system there for everyone there in the crowd. When there's all these issues, right? You see Philip and Terrell talking, and then Philip looks at Dan Flood and goes, "There's an issue with the audio." And then he calls over. Well, before all that happened, what it looks like, at least what it looks like, is that Brian Harple messes with something in his pocket. He messes with something in his front right pocket, and it's not it's not his walkie-talkie system that's on his back left hip. And then when he activates it, turns it on, something, that's when this audio issue really becomes noticeable. And then that's when Philip and Terrell communicate with Dan, why would the AV system need to communicate with Dan? Well, if they all knew that there was a system on Brian, this is my opinion, by the way, because what Dan Flood does, Dan Flood gets on his walkie, calls over Brian. Brian walks over to him. Dan Flood talks to him. Brian puts his hand on Dan's butt. And then Brian goes back in his pocket. And he did. It's weird. He did. He just like puts his hand there and he's like listening. He leans in. He's like holding him because Dan Flood's on like this little pedestal. He's like on this thing. And so then Brian is pissed. You could see he's pissed. He turns it off, which is weird because he turned it on. Issues. They call him. Dan Flood calls him over, turns it off. To me, that's like a domino. You can see that one thing affected the next thing, and then they called him over and he undid it. That's my opinion. And then as he walks back, as Brian walks back to his spot on the X, he looks over at Terrell and Philip and gives them like the death stare. Like, you freaking idiots, dude. Right. We're all on camera. All that just got captured on camera. And I think they maybe were hoping they'd get an abort maybe, or, like, okay, we're not going to do it. No, it was proceed as nothing happened. And then the next thing that Terrell does, right before the big bang goes off, he leans over to Charlie and tells Charlie to move the handheld mic from the right-hand side to the left-hand side. And I don't know what that was supposed to do or what that ended up doing, but never before did that happen at any event. Charlie had the mic and he would put it in his lap. Have the mic and he would put it in his lap. Never did it interfere with the lapel mic. He would set it down on the table and he would take like a drink of water and then he would pick it back up. And then, of course, we have the big bang and you have Terrell. Well, Philip looks over at the Losi Center direction right after the big bang, which is weird. He looked in that direction and then he gets up and runs away. Terrell runs directly to that rock wall, climbs up on the rock wall, and then records himself in the worst acting I have ever seen, ever. And then
they killed Charlie, right?
Declares him dead.
He wasn't even in the SUV yet at that time, right?
Nope.
I don't think so, right?
He wasn't, because he's filming him, he's saying it, and then as they're carrying him, he turns it around, and that's where we get one of the footage is from his phone, capturing them, and then Frank getting in the back of the car. He said it before
not
they made it.
Charlie's dead. I remember that. Charlie, he's like against the wall. Charlie's dead. Like,
they killed him.
Doing a selfie. Who has time during a shooting to do a selfie?
How does he not know that there's not another potential shooter, or that the shooter that was already there is not from that direction? How does he know anything that makes him so? And so here's another thing, like in a dangerous situation like that, he didn't find cover. He actually got to a more exposed position. He got up on a high ground where there's nothing to hide from, and his clothes and his body is up against this wall, and he would be the perfect next victim if there was an actual another shooter or a real shooter there, because he just made himself totally exposed and vulnerable.
Right.
So dumb.
So
dumb.
Like I said, I know it's redundant, but they think we're stupid. It's just.
Yep. And he wasn't even supposed to be there. I've seen him at one other event when I went back and looked at all the other events, and it was an older event. It was either from 23. I think it was from 23. It might have been from 24. But yeah, he, like Candace said, it wasn't normal for him to be there. And yet he was there. Right. And then he goes, and that's the next thing he does. Him and Philip destroy the crime scene they pick up the chair that Charlie was murdered on, and is a piece of evidence, because they would need to see like how far did it fall and everything, like to recreate the crime scene. He picks it up. He like desecrates it. He picks it up, puts it, and then stands on it, takes out the SD card, takes the other SD card out of the front facing camera, which that camera, if we ever got that footage, we would know so much. That camera, if you watch it on a previous campus event from 2025, it is high quality and it is right there. We would have it. I don't even know how many frames per second it was capturing in, but it definitely would have given us a lot more than the UVU, which was further away, and the back camera, which we only get the back. The front is where a lot of this, shirt movement and activity happens, which I don't know if it would solve the case, but it would definitely help us. And he knew that.
It would. Absolutely.
There's no innocent reason for him to take the SD cards. He said, because they were stealing hats and they were going to steal equipment. is one reason. But then he leaves the $1,000 cameras. Okay, that makes sense. And then he's like, "Oh, but I knew how evil people could be, and they would take it, and then I didn't want Erika to ever see the footage." Like,
oh, well, you got to protect the widow. Jeez.
What's her name? Dana Lash.
Dana Lash. Widow.
I am. Baron did a thing on it, or no, wait. It was Candace. Candace did it today. She did a thing on it, and it was what we noticed when we watched it live. We were watching that whole event live, and very unbecoming of a woman. Very aggressive and masculine posture.
Yeah.
Look, and I think she said "widow" over 50 times.
Oh no, Candace's rendition on the whole thing. Widow. I'm literally it's pulled up on my feed. The way she said so. I grabbed that clip immediately. I was just like, because I'm dying. And this is when I told you, I texted you. I'm like, so guys, so I dropped my phone today and the screen went out. I'm like, oh my, wait, during Candace is retweeting me and I got to answer the Twitter and like my phone goes out. I got to go on the podcast tonight, but I got it all fixed. I went to the repair shop and I paid $200. I'm like, give me a new screen now, please. ASAP. Can you do it now?
What kind of case do you have? You need to get a good case.
Yeah, it doesn't have. It's not it's a case from Temu.
That's where you went wrong. But you got it fixed. Yeah,
I got it fixed. So I grabbed the clip immediately, and I just was like, I gotta post. I gotta make a post on this, and then Candace liked it right after her show. So, it's funny. Please go watch it. Watch Candace go widow.
Yeah, it's good.
Widow.
Yeah. It's after the whole historical breakdown of the Bolsheviks and the extermination of the Christians in Russia, the assassination of the Romanovs, which was like one of the best Christian dynasties in the area out of all the different royal families. But it's after that portion, then she talks about it. And it's like in the middle. You know a little bit about her, right? We were talking about that before. That Dana Lash. She used to be a liberal or liberal.
A liberal. She used to be a liberal back in the 90s, and apparently, according to Grok said that she used to be a liberal back in the 90s, and she switched over to the conservative side of things when the Clinton and Monica Lewinsky scandal happened.
Oh, I thought it said at 9/11. I thought it said on September.
Hold on.
I thought it said 2001. I know it did say something about Monica Lewinsky that she started to question or
she became disillusioned with the Democrat Party after the Clinton Lewinsky scandal and fully rejected it after the September 11th, 2001 attacks.
Yeah.
Shifting to conservatism and registering as a Republican in 2001. She has described the change as a gradual conversion. So that's why she just does radio. She's not on, she doesn't, because she's used to that era. And that was all you had back then was radio.
Yep.
So somebody today said, oh, you guys need to get over yourselves. You're just jealous that Dana's more popular than Candace Owens. And I'm just laughing.
I saw that.
Laughing.
I saw that.
Hysterically. I'm like, she does radio. Radio's not it anymore. Everybody.
No.
Like,
who listens to radio?
Up.
Who do you think listens to radio?
Boomers.
Yeah.
Boomer.
Did you watch that walkaway thing I sent you of the debate between Harrison and Owen Schroyer and Alex Stein against the three boomers?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Maybe I didn't send it to you. Maybe I was talking to somebody else. There was I forget the guy's name. It's a YouTube channel, The Walkaway.
Yes.
and it's about like the MAGA divide. And it's basically, it kind of points out, you see these, and I'm not saying this about all boomers, guys. I got some flack on it the night that I covered that. Not all boomers are bad. Not
Yes,
all of anyone are bad. Okay. But you see these three boomers completely just dig their toes in on Philly and supporting Trump. And yeah, that's where this divide, I think, in MAGA and America First and in the Republican Party is happening. It's not, I think it's this generational divide.
It's this generational
followers.
Yeah, it's this generational divide. And I will say, you know what? My generation gets a little nasty with the boomers, but the boomers get a little nasty with us too. And you know what? They do. And not all of them are bad, but it's just that just what I've dealt with.
Yeah.
My whole life, the boomers in my family I don't talk to. Let's just put it that way, okay? You know, just it's
Did you ever know about the Lori Cardoza Moore lady before it came out? Do you know who I'm talking about?
No.
Google her real quick and I'll tell you about her, right? So Lori Cardoza Moore is I don't know if she's like a congresswoman. I know she works in the nonprofits as well, but she's totally Zionist, claims to be Christian. She's the one that did a video attacking Charlie for allowing Tucker Carlson on the Student Action Summit.
Yeah. I remember that.
His hand of protection. Don't be counted among the Edomites, Charlie.
Yes. So interesting. When Charlie was going to allow Tucker on, and I will actually go through my text messages with my former colleague at Turning Point, because she was having an issue with a baby boomer in her district. Could be Lori. Can't remember. Glad you brought this up. And I said, well, what's the issue? She's just like, she's calling me nonstop, being like, I want to support this. I want to support AmFest this year, but Charlie really is going to have Tucker. Like my friend was like, could not, like, she's like, this woman won't leave me alone. And I'm trying to tell her, like, Tucker's coming. I'm not Charlie Kirk. What do you want me to do? I'm a field worker. But she was hounding her and like harassing her nonstop about Tucker Carlson.
Yep. And AmFest. She was, so it sounds like her, because that's we can see she was tweeting about it. She posted about it. She did a video in the car about it. And then she texted Charlie about it. And Candace released those texts. And she went off. So she was doing the same kind of tactics, like hounding Charlie.
Yes.
And TPUSA Online didn't want Charlie to have Tucker on at AmFest.
Yep.
Nuts. What's really nuts is that when you a lot of these individuals don't realize that, like, if they rebuild the third temple, okay, and their Messiah comes, their Messiah may be our Antichrist, guys. Just letting you know, because they believe we're idol worshipers. They're not allowed to step foot in a Christian church, but they can go in a mosque. Did you know that? They're allowed to go in a mosque because they're monotheistic and we're not. We're pagan idolaters that even worse, we blaspheme their own religion, and we said that their God came in as flesh. They can't even say his name. They're not allowed to say his name. They have to say like JC or some other variation of it. They do not respect these Protestant Christians that are helping the Chabad, organization to rebuild the third temple. They see these individuals like Ted Cruz and Lindsey Graham as useful idiots to help them usher in the end times that they believe they're going to then rule the world. And most of us will die out. And then a few of us will be allowed, if we adhere to the Noahide laws, then we'll be allowed to serve them and we'll be happy. We'll be happy too. It's nuts.
It's so nuts. Yeah.
But I think the doctrination is so thick that a lot of people have this confirmation bias too. Like, they're not going to seek out information that's going to not affirm their beliefs. They're only going to seek out information that affirms their beliefs. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I know, dealing with this and certain people on, X is pretty wild, but we got the Lisa Knows out there. I don't know if she's come after you yet.
So I should show. Okay, so
She's been coming after me since January.
watch out. She was going after a fellow podcaster named Jay Yapper. Jay Yaps a lot. He's on X, but he's also on YouTube. I've done a couple collabs with him. He's a good guy. She went after him hard, and she will come after anyone hard. She stayed away from me. I don't know why. I reached out to her after she debated Zach Costello, and I was like, I'd love to debate you. I did the same thing with Gary Melton. Both of them ghosted me. They said I'm beneath them, so that's fine, whatever. But then when I reached out to her after she got destroyed by Didi, she's like, oh no, you show up in my comments. I've never showed up in her comments ever. And I know everything I need to know about you. You support Didi. And I'm like, I don't support Didi, but I think I watched his episode where you seemingly got destroyed by him, but she's crazy, dude.
Oh, she's out of her mind. I used to do TikTok lives with my followers on TikTok. That's, I don't use TikTok anymore, even though I have a massive following on there. I get maybe 50 views now because they've censored me so heavily.
Yep.
But I used to go do TikTok lives, and I said, all right, guys, you guys want to jump on today with me? You guys want to ask me any questions? So I had my moderator jump on, and we're talking. And then I was going to have this guy from the Carrington show, who is an expert in the GATE program, or his name is called Carrington. And so I had him on that day. He was running a little late, I believe. So me and my moderator are talking, and we're going back and forth on live. And then I get a ding ding, and I'm like, oh, okay, somebody wants to join the conversation. And I let Lisa in.
Oh no.
I let Lisa in. That's what she does, though. I'll tell you how. So I let her in, and I was like, hey, how are you? And she's like, good. How are you? I'm like, good. I go, yeah, what do you want to talk about today? She goes, let's talk about the fact that how do you go to bed every night knowing that you're a damn liar? That on my platform, who does that?
Lisa.
Who goes on somebody's platform like that, crashes it?
Lisa.
It's trashy. It's trash. She's trash.
It is.
She's complete trash.
Yeah.
She's Dana Lash trash.
Yeah.
There we go. That's it right there.
Good slogan.
Guys, I get sometimes, on my YouTube channel, I tell my followers, all right, guys, I'm going to calm down. I get very passionate sometimes. I'm an Italian, so
it's hard to work with some of these people, man. It's insane.
Yeah. And so she goes on, starts spitting out all this, and I'm like, she goes, you didn't get the dates right of when Charlie moved to Arizona. And I'm like, I know. And I said, oh, well, she kept talking, and she wouldn't let me speak. And so I was trying to tell her, I'm like, hey, Lisa, did you see actually that I actually have a backstory of when Charlie came? Do you know who the Kadars are? She wouldn't let me ask any questions. All she goes, no, Tyler Boyer said this. And I'm like, oh, so your source is Tyler Boyer. Okay, Lisa. Right. And then she goes out there, and then my guest finally shows up, and then they're now debating about the GATE program and about children and all that. And I'm just sitting here like, oh my gosh, what is this? But after the show, she goes out there and says, I destroyed Matthew on his platform. He's an idiot. You guys, he won't release the live recording because on TikTok, they don't post the live recording. You have to actually pull it from the archives and then repost it yourself.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, I'm not going to repost this one.
No, she sabotaged, showed up without you even knowing. It wasn't even supposed to be about her. She made it about her. She did the same thing with Zach. The reason why Didi did good was he didn't let her have as much time, and he played her game right back. She doesn't play fair.
Yeah, no, she doesn't. She's whacked out of her mind. And so I let it go on for about 2 hours. It was nuts. Dang. Oh yeah. But they were debating, and then, I would interject and I would just say, all right, guys, you know what? Since I'm the host of this show, I would like to interject and give a few words. And I start explaining, we start talking about ADD and how my mother took me off of meds. Right. So I said, back in the day, I was put on Ritalin, and she goes, she just interjects after she had the floor for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
She cuts me off, the host, and I'm like, and I lost it. I said, would you shut the up? Would you shut up and let me talk? This is my platform. How dare you? Like,
yeah,
this is Lisa Knows, people.
Yeah. I think
Anyways,
she tries to get people to explode too. That's the thing as well.
Yeah.
You know,
and she knows she's a paid agitator, and
yes,
she's paid by Turning Point USA, and she's up Gary Melton's ass.
Yeah, she was there at the Young Women's Leadership Summit and had like access, and I mean, it's nuts.
Yeah. I like to say, you know, Gary Melton and all those guys and Valhalla, you know.
Yep.
Yeasty Boys, Lavender Berets. Yeasty Boys, Lavender Berets.
Yeah, I don't know how people forget what they all tried to do to Candace and Mitch, you know. Like, but I mean, that's kind of our news cycle. People forget. They move on.
Yep.
All right. Says it's a literal power move, handshake. Same thing Erika does with her hugs. I just made a video about it. Jack is saying it about T Swift, but it's EK. I wonder what this was about.
Handshake.
Oh, maybe it was about Dana Loesch or
handshake, same thing Erika does with her hugs. Jack is saying about it.
Oh, maybe when we were talking about Trump. The handshake.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, to pull him in.
To pull him in, yeah.
Jack
talking about T-Split too, but it's Erika Kirk. Yes, Eric. Okay, I see what she's saying. So what I like about Charlie's Angels, I know she's like big into pattern recognition.
Yes.
And so am I. And that's why a lot of my followers love me, because they're like, dude, you recognize patterns like crazy. So I get what she's saying, the hug, how she likes to hug and pull. And it's a power.
It is.
It is.
Well, and I wonder too, like if what she
did that with dance, right?
Well, and she put his I wonder if that was like a move that she does to, like, I don't know, like let the wives know that she can, like, what, she can do anything she wants.
Yeah.
Married or widow, or, you know, like it wouldn't have been appropriate with Charlie being alive. It sure as heck's not appropriate with Charlie being assassinated and it being at, what event was that? That was at Ole Miss. That was at the Ole Miss when she was wearing the leather pants and the white shirt, and she puts her fingers through his hair in the back. Like, that's something you do. That's an intimate move. That's a crazy move.
Yeah.
That's a total Trump move. You know what I mean? Like, she puts her fingers through his hair. That's what you do when you're kissing somebody.
I know.
Out. Like, that's nuts. Like, you think about that, and like, she knows it's being broadcast. She's supposedly friends with Usha. I don't know. That's crazy. That's just like, I do what I want. Erika's like, say something, Usha. I dare you. It's nuts.
So nuts.
Brian switches something off in Dan's pants, and it's really quick. Like he has his hands on him, like he's moving around him. I'll have to go back and see that. Are you talking about when Brian puts his hand on Dan's butt? That's when he switches something off in Dan's pants?
That's probably what he was doing. He was probably, yeah.
I'll have to go back and look at the video in slow-mo. Definitely, he puts his hand on his butt. What I definitely see right after that, after Dan tells him what's going, and Dan points too. So Dan points over to Philip and Terrell while explaining to Brian, whatever you just did in your pocket, well, they know what it is. You have to undo it. It's causing too many issues, because he's pointing over there. They have an issue based on something you did. That's why I called you over here. Why would he call Brian over here? Why would Brian then go, okay, and then go in his pocket and turn something off? Like, I don't know how to see that any other way. That was what was really convincing with me when, like, you know, I've had Blake on, and Blake Bednarz, he's on X. And that was one of the things that he, you know, discovered, and why he thinks so strongly about Brian that he does. And what's hard for me is I can't see that chain of events any other way. I don't know how you can make sense of that because it starts with him going in the pocket, turning it on, and then the issue, and then Philip and Terrell, and then Dan, and then you know what I mean? It's just yeah. I'll have to go back though, Charlie, and see if you're saying he puts his hand on his butt, which he does. You actually see him turn something on or off. I'm gonna go back and look at that.
Yeah.
And then we got this one, Jane Seth Rupert. Haven't seen you in a minute. Good to see you, Jane. Great discussion. Thanks. What does Matt think about Andrew Kolvet's role? Are they all simply criminally minded and then hired by Tyler, not Charlie? How did Charlie get fooled? How does it work at the top, in his opinion? So this is for you. So let's start with the first one.
Loaded question.
What does Matt think about Andrew Kolvet's role?
What do I think about his role? I think he definitely knew what was coming, and he was getting prepared to take over Charlie's show.
Yep.
For sure.
All of these people. So Tyler's the longest employee there, right? But Andrew Kolvet, Mikey McCoy, Blake Neff all came in the picture after Erika. Erika comes in the picture in 2018. Blake Neff, Mikey McCoy come in 21, 22, 23 timeframe.
Yes.
And all the money too. Barron did a great job on this. Like the money that you were talking about earlier, that like as more donor money comes in, the less freedom, the less autonomy you have. TPUSA grew gradually from 2015 to 2017. Then Erika comes in the picture 2018, and then it's exponential every year. It's like millions and millions and millions of dollars. And then they get engaged and it's like double. And then they get married and it's like triple.
Yep.
And then that's when all the other characters come in that we know are dishonest. Andrew wanted to lie about something. And he says that on that one interview with that guy. I forget his name. He's like an older guy. And Andrew retells the story that Charlie said, no, we don't do that. I don't do that. We don't do that here. Andrew wanted to lie to resolve an issue. And Charlie said, no, we don't do that. I don't do that. But that's Andrew's instinct, is to lie, to solve something, to resolve an issue.
That's their PR team is got to be one of the worst PR teams I've ever seen, but that's their tactic though. They got to lie to solve a problem. They do it even in small things that I witnessed at Turning Point for the few months that I was there during the election cycle. They lie. They're a bunch of liars. They lie to fix things, and it keeps blowing up and blowing up and blowing up in their face. And they think you got to be a really nasty narcissist to literally know you're like, the way they operate at Turning Point is disgusting. Like you got to be such a nasty narcissist to really behave like this. And they don't care. They don't care that they're lying. Do you think Alex Clark and her fiance, do you think they really care that we're picking them apart right now, even though they're acting like, oh, poor me, I'm this, I'm late. They don't care. They're narcissistic scumbags. Yeah. And they don't care.
Yeah.
It's all a show. Even when they're getting flack and they're like, oh, poor me, they don't care.
No.
They're laughing at all of us, is what they're doing. Especially Alex Clark and all those girls, Lacey Nagao and the Turning Point director or CTV director. They're all like that.
Yeah. Renita came up with a joke. You know how it's called if you're married to, like, a woman's married to a gay guy, or she's called his beard, right? Or something like that.
Yeah. Beard.
Renita came up with the joke that he's her purse.
Did you see the fiddle video?
Bro. Okay. Bro. Here's what's crazy. So we see the coffee shop video, and the only part of that was a skit was the way he's what he's saying, not how he's saying it. That's him. How he's saying it and all of these mannerisms, that's him. Okay. But the whole, like, we're an artist and blah, blah, blah. Okay. That part might be a skit, but go watch the fiddle video where he is like in high school or college. He's young.
He's
And
like,
that's him. That's him. Did you see his video yesterday or today in the car where he's like, I just want to talk directly to you, Candace. He tried so hard to get the bravado and talk manly, and I'll pray for you. It was so fake. I don't know who told him to do that.
the PR team is horrible there. I'm telling you. He's got the deep voice. Now we got Dana Lash, and Candace is going, widow. Just
Well, I have a theory, dude. Like
all these deep voices now trying to. It's so
what's going on?
Right.
The demons are coming out.
He tried so hard. He did. He tried
way too hard.
But if you look at the fiddle, right? Him playing the fiddle, but look at him. He looks like a kid, right? From the gate program. He looks nerdy, intelligent, right? Usually musicians that can play
are gifted.
Are very gifted.
Very gifted.
Very gifted. So what's that tell you? Central casting, guys. This guy's been MK Ultra. He's paid to play, and he was a little dork in high school playing the freaking fiddle. And now look at him. He actually, to be honest, sharp dressed man, good looking guy, nice glasses now. That's what they do. Hey, you know what? We're going to turn you from this and we're going to turn you to that. That's what they probably did to Charlie too. It's so we can recognize these patterns now.
Yeah.
And that's what I see with this Vance, Alex Clark's fiance. A very gifted man, probably in the gate program, manipulated his whole life, promised everything. Let's make this whole fake and gay freaking night at the women's summit, you know. Oh, did he do good, guys? Did he do good?
Weird.
Did he do good? Like, really? You're flat. Who? Bible talks about that for sure. You don't do that to the crowd. First of all, it's just so in your face, so disgusting. And that's what they did. They turned him into a well sharp dressed man now who talks like this.
Yeah, it was
That's it. Right there.
Speaking of that, like, let's take a look at this video that I found. Let me pull this up. There we go. Let's listen to this.
Okay, this is the really fun part.
Is that right?
Yes. Okay, so
breaking news on politics, everybody.
This is actually breaking news because you've never, to my knowledge, ever talked about your dating life.
I try not to.
You try not to. Does it feel uncomfortable, or you just like keeping it private?
Most people don't have good intentions in the world.
Yeah.
So you protect what you care about.
Wow, chills. When I posted on the politics story asking cute conservatives all of the things that they could ask you. We had hundreds of responses. 99% were about who you were dating. They wanted to know who you were dating. They wanted to know what you look for when dating, what you look for in a girl. So what are 3 things that you would say that you look for in someone that you're dating?
I really don't look for anything because I've already found what I'm looking for. Well, I have an amazing girlfriend. She's spectacular.
Is she in politics?
Not really, no.
What can you tell us about her?
She's
what
beautiful.
Would you be willing?
She's reverent.
She's a reverend? I didn't know this about her.
She's reverent.
Oh. I was like, wait, this is new. I don't know if we'll want to keep that or not.
Oh, you better keep it. You better keep it.
Okay, she's reverent. So what's an example? What do you mean?
She's prayerful. She believes in God. She's a great person. She believes in other people. She always thinks of other people before herself. She's very fun. And honestly, I'm so blessed to be able to have her in my life.
That is so sweet of you to say. I will say this. Charlie's girlfriend is totally gorgeous. She's so gorgeous.
I'm way over promoted.
The first time that I met your girlfriend, I didn't know she was your girlfriend. So my first interaction was you hadn't come over yet and she was digging through your salad and removing all the croutons. And I was confused because I didn't understand.
Where was this?
YWLS last year. So
I wonder what year that was. I'd never seen this in full. So like my
either. Wow.
My wife had sent it to me. We can watch it more. I didn't know how much you guys were like into it or not.
No, what an awkward interview too, right?
Did you see that? Charlie was uncomfortable. That was one of the things my wife noticed.
Oh, uncomfortable. And he was so uncomfortable to the point where the way he's acting now towards her and his responses, I'd be embarrassed if I were her. I'd be like, because he's straight up telling her like, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, nice. That's Charlie though, nice guy, but he's doing it in a way like you're an idiot.
She's a reverend. She's a reverend. I didn't know that about her. No, reverend. Do you know the term? She's reverent. She didn't know what that meant.
This is the future of the conservative party, everybody.
Yeah.
Alex Clark.
That's Alex Clark, by the way. Yeah. I mean, what I also thought was interesting is he obviously was head over heels blinded by her beauty and her performance as a Christian. If you listen to how Charlie described her, and I'd have to look at the date of that to find out, because I know exactly when they met and how long he would have known her at this time. This just was posted by Alex 8 months ago, so that's not going to give me. Oh, this is April 2020. Okay. I mean, they met in 2018. I don't know when they actually started dating. I think the first event that she went to with him was in October 2018, and that's when Andrew met her, and it was in Pasadena or LA, and it was some event. But he didn't introduce her as girlfriend. It was as friend. But so they would have known each other about a year and a half, right? If they met in August of 2018 and that was April 2020. You can't really know someone that much in a year and a half. You can know someone, yes. But I mean, even like after you're married for like 5 years, like you really start to get to know people over longer periods of time.
Right.
But he was so sure that she was a good Christian reverent. And then one of the other things he described her as was out of his league beautiful. He even described that himself, that she's out of his league.
Right.
Look, which is interesting.
Yeah. I think that's it right there. I mean, that's a honeypot right there. I mean,
yes.
Classic example.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Tyler's I'm not going to say Tyler's stupid.
Right.
He's a very calculated person.
Yeah. Very
He knew what he was doing. Get this beautiful blonde in front of Charlie, get him hypnotized, more under the spell, etc. Or who knows? Maybe Charlie wasn't under a spell growing up, but he got to Erika, and maybe that's who.
Yeah.
Right there. MK altered him for a second.
Yeah. Do you know, is Tyler Boyer's family connected to the Romneys? Because the Romneys are deep connected to like CIA and Philly, and he went to the BYU in Philly.
It would make sense.
And I'd have to look. I wonder. No, I think Tyler spoke Russian, right?
Yes.
I think he did his mission trip in like Russia or Ukraine.
Russia, and then him and his wife also had like an orphan living with them too. Remember that? Mm-hmm. Right around the same time, Romanian Angels, etc. I mean, come on.
So weird.
So weird.
But it's not connected. If we all want to know when and how long did Tyler and Erika know?
Right.
That's when they met. In my opinion,
Yeah.
But when you also take into context when Candace said that Charlie didn't know how to interact with women, right? On the dating in the, relationship space. Like she would text the girl that he was in love with before Erika. Candace had to be like his wingman and like help him craft text messages for him to her. And that Charlie was, and this is what I think so much of. So people that are, even if he's even mildly autistic, right? Or like what we would call Asperger's, right? Like someone that's just extremely high functioning, but is socially awkward. All right. Yeah. Charlie, he fits that in a couple different ways. And he has tics.
Absolutely.
And so he would not know what we know through our experience in life about women and about other people. And so I think one of his major weaknesses was being able to discern someone's character. And that's the only way I could make sense of how he could fall for Erika and how he could fall for all the other people that were around him, like Mikey McCoy, Tyler Boyer, Andrew Kolvet, Blake Neff, and then Erika Kirk. Right. People are like, he's so smart. He was book smart. Yep. And he was smart in politics. He was well-read. He was an autodidact. He was self-taught. Yes. But was he good at this? And being able to discern someone's honesty, corruption, who they really were as a person. Could he make sense of, like, is someone pulling one over on me? And I don't think he could. And I think that's the thing that was his kryptonite in the end, was all these people around him that he didn't know were wolves.
Well,
and yeah.
When you can't discern, that's good for the enemy. That's good for them. They're like, great, we can control them then. Yeah. And that's the problem. Yeah. When you lack discernment of character of people, that's what they want.
Yeah. Well, and these people also were saying all the right things because, whether Erika went to the Fort Huachuca Christian intelligence school, learned how to say all the right things, or it was Tyler Boyer and these other people, or like Rob McCoy or Mikey McCoy that are Christian. So they're going to say all the right things, and they're going to put forth this mask that for Charlie is going to be like, oh no, these are good Christian people.
Right. That's what I like at first at Turning Point, when my friends warned me not to go in, I was just like, oh no, it's a Christian organization, good people, and my friends are like, come on, Matt, you have good discernment. And I'm like, well, let's find out, I'm like, hey, you know what? We were still under Biden at that time. The economy was bad when it's bad now. So I was like, yeah, I could take on a second job. Why not get some extra income doing what I love to do? And that's helping the American people. Right. And so I joined, and I found out quickly just how corrupt these people were around him.
You were there at a very particularly important time, right? In 23, 24, leading into the election, correct?
24, summer of 24. Yeah.
Okay. So before the election though, right?
Yeah. Before the election. Yes.
Okay. Was Biden's DOJ weaponized to investigate Charlie and try to put him in prison? And was it for not the things that we've been told, but is it for some of the things that we now know about, like the fraud and the nonprofit and the taxes? And
well, you remember that? Do you remember Charlie debating a student and said, "You want to know why I cried on election night?"
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And I think it had a lot to do with the finances. I think Charlie was finding out, and I think perhaps maybe, I don't know. I just don't see that even Biden really coming after him, to be honest. I mean, because that presidency, we don't even know what the heck happened with that presidency. We don't even know who was running the country. I don't even think Probably they want to say auto pen, but no, who knows who was running our country, really? So that was a very interesting time, and I did Charlie's show towards the election because I was so busy.
Yep.
But I did watch him on election night, and I remember I watched him cry live. Yep.
His tears were real.
His tears were real.
But my question is, he never really tells us why. He just says that they were investigating him, they were coming after him, and they were going to put him in jail or prison, and he wasn't going to be near his kids. But we don't know the why.
We don't know the why. I can only formulate an assessment, analysis, and opinion, but I think both sides are corrupt. Republicans and Democrats, I think they're playing a game. I think it's so sick that they do want to win against one another. I think it's the white and the black pieces on the chessboard there, if you know what I mean. And I think, to that game that they were playing with Charlie was like, yeah, okay, fine. We're coming after your man now. We're going to come after Charlie and blah, 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 blah. And I think too, when Trump got elected, and I think when Charlie finally went to the Oval Office and said, dude, what are you doing? Why are you, we can't go to war.
Yep.
We can't do this. Yep. I think Trump literally was like, you're going to come into my office and tell me this? I saved your ass, Charlie. Are you kidding me? I saved you and you want to go. Boom. That's literally my opinion right there. That was it.
Yeah, I definitely think when enough powerful, influential people have enough to lose or their ego gets challenged, I think so many things were at play that at that moment. Yeah.
Crazy.
I had a question I was going to ask. I think it had to do about, oh man, hopefully it'll come back to me. Smokes. All right, let's see. I think I'm all caught up on the super chats. Man, it was a good question. And
Matt, give me 2 seconds. I gotta grab some water.
Yeah, go ahead.
My voice is starting to get coarse. I'll be right back in 2 seconds, Matt.
Yep, go ahead. Let's see. What we can do is I can play a little bit more of this because I definitely want to. Let's see that one. Oh, that's interesting. I never made it like that before. Or I could do it like that. Huh. Look at me. Finding out new buttons, ladies and gentlemen.
This girl, they were just like, here's Charlie's salad, hand it to this girl. She's sifting through it. And I was like, oh my gosh, he has his assistants dig through his salads with their bare hands. I was so weirded out. And then you came over and sat down and she hugged you from behind, like gave you a kiss on the cheek. And I was shook. I was like, that's inappropriate for his assistant. And then they told me later, like, oh, that's Charlie's girlfriend. I was like, oh, it all makes sense.
Yes.
She is so sweet too. Everyone at Turning Point USA loves her and we love having her around.
Thank you.
People are freaking out right now. Like, can you hear that? That is you discussing that you even have a girlfriend at all. Like, people are freaking out. He's taken. So on those nights that you're laying awake, you can't sleep. What is it that's keeping you awake? What are you thinking about right now?
China.
I knew you were going to say this. When I was.
Oh, Charlie. I miss Charlie. Let's see. All right, let me do this one. Because I thought this was interesting. Let's listen to Barron for a second.
Like, that's the easy way out of this. And here's what I think is the genesis of the attack, because there's a one-to-one correlation here. I find almost no crossover. There are two camps of people. There's a group of people, we'll call them Group A. Group A believes Tyler Robinson, or at least they say publicly, I don't believe they believe, but they say publicly they believe Tyler Robinson solely by himself planned and executed Charlie Kirk.
That's Lisa Knows and Gary Melton, I think, and like Brandon Tatum and Graham Allen and Dave Rubin.
And then you have Group B that goes, is that true? Like, we should look into this, because that doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. These are two people. These are two groups. You know what one common characteristic all of Group A has? They're all pro-Zionists.
Yep.
Every one of them.
Yep.
I have yet to find an example of one who is not.
Yep.
I'm not talking about like low-level minions who are anonymous people attacking, even though all of them are too, from what I can tell.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about the people you've heard of, the people on X.
Yeah.
100% of them who believe Tyler Robinson planned and executed Charlie Kirk by himself. He is responsible. He should get the death penalty. I can't find an example of one who's not a rabid pro-Zionist.
100%. 100%. Oh, that's too close. We'll do that. That looks better. And what's crazy is, oh, it's going to flash. It's going to piss me off. All right. Sorry, guys. I don't know why my my freaking sign does this. It's like it's on for a certain amount of time. It has to be dim. I have it as dim as it can be, and out of nowhere, it just starts doing that. And then I try to turn it on and make it dim, and it would take too much time, and you guys would have to sit there. And I don't want to cause anyone to have a seizure while the sign flashes. But yeah, so the Zionism thing is crazy, and how they want to deny, like Andrew Kolvet, Blake Neff, Erika Kirk, everyone at TPUSA, even BB and everyone else, Frank Turek, Rob McCoy, that Charlie was the most pro-Zionist individual all the way up until September 10th, which just the internet itself disputes that.
Right.
Could you be more dishonest to, well, I mean, yeah. Oh, that's what I was going to say a while back. I think either they are that dumb, the PR team is really that dumb, or they want all of this to be like this, to get us to be on here, to get us to be fighting, to get us to be watching them, to get us to be engaging on X, more data, more distraction from real issues in our community and in the world. We have less energy, less time after we devote all of our time and energy on here. And, because, or they are literally the dumbest people ever. And I struggle with that.
I think we're under a complete, ever since September 10th.
Yeah.
I mean, things haven't felt right since 2020, but
Butler. Yeah.
Things haven't felt really right since September 10th for me.
Yeah.
That might be because I am personally affected by it, but
no, it really kicked off on September 10th. I agree.
And I think we're under, I mean, I noticed, dude, today I was so drained, like before the show, but I got my energy back. And it's because I'm on this right now, dealing with X and dealing with the Lisa knows, and
Crazy.
Every minute. And I look at my phone, and next thing you know, I've been doing this for 4.5 hours, and I'm exhausted. And I think you're hitting something there, Matt. But I think we're at war.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there's people like us that have to go through the muck and drain our dopamine every day to figure out what happened.
Yep.
But they got this country in a complete massive psyop.
Yep.
We are under a psychological operation, and it wasn't just one day.
No,
we're under a complete psychological operation since they killed him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely been on overdrive. You look at the White House Correspondents' dinner thing fiasco. Even like right after, we went into Venezuela. Then the war in Iran kicked real off, right? Like after Charlie's out of the way, because they appeased Charlie and just did a limited strike and bombed the nuclear sites. But then Charlie's out of the way. Our main obstacle is gone. Erika's there. We're good.
There's no way Charlie could be around right now for what they had planned, because the base was listening to Charlie.
Yep.
The base was starting to exit away from Charlie. They were debating him, and they were actually winning the debates with him.
Yep.
And he never, ever really lost a debate.
Yep.
And he started losing, especially when these young Gen Zers towards the end were just straight up like even talking about 9/11.
Yeah.
The dancing Phillies on the rooftop. Charlie never heard of that. He goes, "Oh yeah, really? Oh, really?" But then I think he actually started looking into it. Because he listened to his base.
Yeah. I mean, Tucker. Yeah,
to
go ahead.
The base. I should say the base, which was America first, really.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah. I think also Tucker doing the sit down with Ted Cruz over the summer was massive. We saw which ideas won there. What was it? Dave Smith destroyed Josh Hammer. We saw what ideas won there. Then Charlie and Andrew do a sit down focus group with TPUSA chapter leads over the summer, and all of them had great arguments. Andrew tried to continually steer that back in favor of Philly, which was disgusting and obvious. Charlie was in agreement with the students. He saw what ideas won there, and they knew that the spring campus events, there were some, and it was growing over, but they take a break over the summer because school's out. But that the fall campus events were going to be huge because the bombing in Bordeaux happened. Well, Venezuela happened. Well, it hadn't happened yet, but it was going to happen. You know, they could not allow Charlie to go on campus in the fall with the direction. And he had Megyn Kelly on. Look at everything he said when him and Megyn Kelly were on the show together, his last week alive. You know, I mean, it would have been bad. Look how bad it is now without Charlie, with just Candace and Tucker and Dave and the few voices of sanity on the right that are willing to talk about Trump and Philly and Bibi and the Iran war. Now imagine that with Charlie alive and the microphone of TPUSA at his hands. And imagine how much further along we would be in ridding ourselves of this evil known as Zionism and Philly.
Yeah.
There's no way they could have let that go.
There's no way. There's no way. And I'm going to tell you right now, even though he's gone, all they did was delay the process, because I'm telling you right now, they're what I loved about when Anna Kasparian and that's who we were talking about. Yes. Anna Kasparian and Candace Owens sat down. Boy, that right there, that whole interview, there was clips I wanted to pull from my YouTube channel and talk to my followers about, but people are waking up.
Yep.
This is what Candace and Anna Kasparian talked about. And then they said, you know, instead of being doom and gloom, yes, it's bad out there, everybody. And there is doom and gloom right now, but there is hope. We don't know what is really going to happen, but people are waking up. The elites are freaking out. They've never seen this before. They've never seen us be afraid to call out Philly for what it is and who they are. And I think they wanted to delay the process. They can only delay it. They can only delay it. And I have to agree with Candace and Anna on that. They're
buying time.
They're buying time. That's it. And they delayed it with Charlie, unfortunately.
As soon as and I don't mean this, I don't want boomers to die. My mom's a boomer, but as soon as all the boomers are gone, right? A good support, the major remaining support for Philly and Zionism and Judeo-Christian values. Yes, there's young ones. The majority of, you know, millennials and Gen Z, though, the majority that are Christian and conservative are not. We've already woken up, you know, but as this, you know, this older population gets older and, you know, moves on, right? They're not going to have the ability to do what they did with Massey. No one's going to turn out to vote against Massey. You know, that's how Massey lost, right? They weaponized AIPAC, paid, and got the boomers to turn out in numbers and vote against him. I think that's another reason why they probably had to get Charlie out of the way, because Charlie would have made sure that independent, non-Philly, non-AIPAC members of, you know, whether it's Congress, Senate, or politicians that were going to be mayors or, you know, governors or the president, he would have endorsed not theirs. Not theirs.
Yep.
You can't have that.
No, not at all. We could have been a lot further if Charlie was alive.
Yep.
But I guess, you know, we're picking up the mic now.
Yeah.
And they're not. They can think that they're picking up Charlie's mic, but they're not. We are America first.
Yep.
Real patriots who want to restore our republic.
Yep.
That's what we got to do. And that's why I do it. You know, I do it, and I got to see where this is going to take me. But, you know, I wanted to step away really bad, especially when I left Arizona. So I'm never getting involved, whatever, I'm done. And it's in my blood. This is a cause that I am willing to die for. And that's how some of us have to be right now. And that's where I'm at. And so I'm going to continue, but I had to step away because it got a little scary.
Yeah. And I mean, you and I have talked. I'll say this much. I want to get more involved politically in my area. That's as much as I'll say right now. But yeah, because you know what? I have a wife and kids, and so like I don't want to die, but I realize that here's the other thing though, like sometimes you have to be willing to put your life on the line, because what country, what kind of future will my kids and my grandkids inherit if we don't stand up now? It'll be the complete, 1984, a brave new world that they'll be walking into, where my kids and my grandkids have no freedom whatsoever and we're controlled completely. This is the opportunity where there's a lot of friction and we still can affect the outcome. We can still affect the outcome still. Oh, you muted.
Absolutely.
You and me have the same mic. You know what I didn't?
We do. Yeah.
I can't figure out how to get my little light thing to work, and for me to do that, I'll have to talk to you later.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I don't know. Yours might be hooked up through a C. Mine's not hooked up
through a C. Yeah, mine's through a C. Yeah.
I think it has to be hooked
I do
up
not like the stand that came with it. It's like too tall.
It is. I got mine over there.
Yeah, I had to like configure it to make it work. But I got to get a boom. That's my next thing, is just to get a boom and just,
I'll send you pictures of the one that my father-in-law got me. I mean, there's all different levels that you can do. I think it's B&H radio. You can look up B&H radio.
Yeah.
And they have like starter packs of like a soundboard and, a camera or different things. But
yeah,
the boom makes it way better. I had it on the stand that it came with, and you're right. I had to like sit up like this. It was like, and you couldn't make it go down.
Yeah, no, they need to redo that whole thing. They need to recall it. Is what they need to do.
It's huge. It's like,
I mean, Shure is a great product, but they need to recall their stand.
Yeah, that stand's crazy. Let's see. Okay, I got all the supers. If anyone has another super and they want to get it in before we begin the wrap up, we're at 2.5 hours. Let's see if I got to at least the majority of the questions. I guess a broad question I could ask is there anything, you feel you haven't shared yet that you would want to share?
I mean, I think pretty much I laid out, the culture at Turning Point, the fake and gay stuff that's going on there. The corruption, the sex parties, Benny Johnson being at the Latino summit with his wife. I can drop that. I mean, I've dropped it a couple of times, but apparently at the Latino summit that weekend, I wasn't there, but I heard stories that were coming out of it. And Benny Johnson's wife was apparently in the hotel lobby crying drunk. And Benny Johnson was upstairs. And that the reason why she was crying was he was upstairs partying with the boys and doing things with the boys, the young Latinos. So,
and that's pretty rampant within this arena.
Oh, geez.
Like it's more common than people think, probably.
Very. They will look at the liberals for calling out the gays and calling them gay liberals and stuff. There's more gays in the conservative party than you can really. It's all, and that's the thing. Nobody cares. That's the problem. No one cares.
Yeah.
Nobody
cares. In the culture, it's just accepted as part of the culture.
Yeah. And no one cares, really. You talk to anybody, nobody cares these days, but they made it that way. And I've witnessed things when I lived in DC and I had an internship, lobbyists spending $42,000 for 2 nights for me and a couple friends, taking us up there, feeding us drugs. And that's, I partook in it back then. Yeah. I was fresh out of college and I was in DC. I was mesmerized. hiring call boys, all sorts of stuff that this lobbyist, Lanny Griffith, look him up. He's dead now. He had a wife, we'd be in Fifth Avenue. He's taking us shopping and we're at Prada Gucci and his wife's calling and he's just charging the credit card, your taxpayer dollars, people, this lobbyist.
Nuts.
By the way, and I saw the hotel bill, $42,000 for 2 nights at the Four Seasons, room service, food, you name it. This is where your money's going to. I've been there. I've seen it all. I've been around these people. I ask God every day, why have you put me in these rooms? What is the point? I end up in these places and I'm like I'm not going to say I'm a nobody, but like, I'm just a regular, guy who goes to DC for an internship, but all of a sudden is rubbing arms, getting invited to the White House for a pride reception under Obama in 2013. I don't know how this happens. And I ask God every day. And I just think there's just a mission.
Yeah.
I was meant to see these things for this time.
Yeah.
Really. That's all I can make sense of. Really.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Hands down. Well, we got one other super, and I think you're at a later time zone than me, so it's probably way later your time.
Yeah, it's 12:30 my time.
Oh yeah.
12:30 in the morning.
Team Tucci 2027, Jim Carrey. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. I will say this too. I'm not gonna give it away too much, but all I'm gonna say is I will be doing something political here as well.
Cool.
We're moving home to Florida. I will have the resources to do so. So,
good.
But that's it. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not sure yet, but it looks like it is leading me back into that sphere, and just got to build this coalition or whatever we're building right now. There's a lot of new podcasters coming out, a lot of new whistleblowers. We have Honest Ashley, we have Charlie's Angels.
Yep.
We're all coming together and people are starting to recognize us, like Candace and Barron and things like that, because it is building. We're done. I think this is it.
Yeah.
This is everything. And I'm going to say right now that I knew from day one that there was something off. I knew it wasn't a crazy leftist. And I called my friend at Turning Point and I said, I hope to God Candace says something soon. Yeah. And I think in a couple days, she finally put everything together. She validated what my friend at Turning Point was feeling. She validated what I was feeling. My suspicion, when she brought up Tyler for the first time, I was like, oh, yes, here we are. And because of Candace, we have boots on the ground now. People are speaking out. People are not afraid to speak up. We have other whistleblowers at Turning Point that have come forward. We have still people inside Turning Point that are to remain completely anonymous. And I have one more friend left there.
Good.
And that's it. My other friend, unfortunately, because I started retweeting Candace's stuff, Tyler pulled her into his office and said, you are not to talk to Matthew. You're not to engage with him at all. And she kept engaging with me. And she's fired. But she spoke about it. So
did that happen recently?
That happened around the time I started blowing the whistle on TikTok.
Okay, that wasn't Aubrey, because Aubrey worked directly.
No, it wasn't. It was not Aubrey.
Yeah,
no,
yeah, Aubrey worked under Andrew Kolvet.
Right.
Don't say, I'm not going to ask her name. But is she gonna? She went on Diligent Dennison. Oh, she did.
Right after she got fired. She has been completely silent now. I don't know where this individual is. We had a conversation. She's a little upset. Some of the information I leaked. I mean, I covered the name, but there were some things, I made a mistake.
Yeah.
I'm human, but
yeah,
I think overall she's like, but it had to get out. And I said, yes, it did. And I'm sorry that, I forgot to redact this one part that gave it away who you were. I apologize. you know, I was new at it. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just like, I need to blow the whistle, you know, this needs to come out. It needs to come out. And B and I we left on good terms. Let's just put it that way. We're just not talk. We decided it's in our best interest for our safety and security to not talk.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate. And this is what they do. I want people out there to understand they want this to happen. They want to see great relationships destroyed.
Yep.
And that's what they're doing. I made a mistake, but ultimately it goes right back to them. They wanted this to happen between me and this individual.
Yep.
And they got what they wanted. So, and she also too confirmed in a text that Tyler Boyer admitted he was a Zionist to her.
Yeah, of course.
You know, but that's all in there too.
I mean, did you see what they did to Aubrey after everything? They were her and her boyfriend, weren't they following her around and like kind of like threatening her?
Yeah. No, that's what they do. They taunt her. I have text messages from my friend's manager, Austin Smith, who I think it was Austin Smith's that guy. Anyways, I think it's Austin. Anyways, her manager texted me like, "What's your involvement with this Matthew?" And she's like, "Do you not know who he is? He worked for us." And he's like, "Well, he wasn't in my area." And she goes, "You weren't the manager then. Of course you don't know who he is." And she goes, "I'm going to tell you something right now. He's a grown man. He's allowed to post whatever he wants to post. He has his opinion.
Yeah.
Why? I've told you this 1,000,000 times." 2 days later, text her, "What's your involvement again with him?" And she's like, "I've told you nothing." These people are sick.
Yeah.
Guy harassing this woman.
Yeah.
Just total disgusting. It's
Yeah.
disgusting. So that's all I have left, pretty
Good.
much.
This
This was a good show, Matt. Honestly,
yeah.
one of the better of the interviews I've been on. Honestly, seriously, this was great, and I'm getting more comfortable too. So I think the more shows I go on, the better my message is going to get for people.
sure.
So,
Yeah. It's a skill.
if anyone wants to follow me on X, I'd appreciate it.
Well, here, let me pull you up on X. Hold on.
And then my YouTube channel is Truth Over Paradigm too, as well.
And I'll pull that up as well.
Yeah.
Let me go. The quickest way is to go here, and then I'm going to click on your little face. There you are. All right. So let me share this tab. Hop back over here. Boom. All right. So this is Matt Tucciarone's X. Come over here, click the follow button, and follow him. Oh, I got to be careful with that.
What?
X is okay. The bottom, that the video from the night that they took everyone out to that club, that's your top post right there.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, the James O'Keefe after party with the stripper and the wine glass. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That's
Hopefully.
TPUSA, everybody, but they're Christians and they don't like that stuff, but they're there.
Yeah.
At the after party.
She wasn't nude, was she?
No, she was just, totally disrespecting the American flag. First of all,
Yeah.
I mean, that was sick. I mean,
Yeah.
just,
Oh yeah. Yeah, totally. And then hold on, let me pull up your YouTube. Well, if YouTube penalizes us, then it's just like they make you just edit it out.
what happened? Just oh.
YouTube is cracking down on like everything. What's the name of your YouTube channel?
Truth Over Paradigm.
There it is. Yep. Let me pull it up. Why isn't it? Click. All right, let me share this tab. And then here. And then Truth Over Paradigm here is his YouTube channel. So go give him a subscribe on YouTube. Give him a follow on X.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Yep, of course. Thank you, man. And we'll do this again for sure.
Oh, absolutely. I really enjoyed tonight. I really did.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, me too.
I just want the message out there. I just want people to understand, what the culture is like at Turning Point. And I hope it gives validation also to people who watch Candace. They can be like, wow, Candace is really telling the truth.
Yeah.
It gives her more credibility.
Yep.
From an insider coming out who was only there for, a few months, but around the political circles, guys, for 6 years in Arizona. I know it all.
Yeah.
So,
yep. Well, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to stay on for a couple minutes just to do some admin stuff, housekeeping, and then, but I'll talk to you later. Okay. Thank you so much for coming on.
Hey, thank you guys. Y'all, God bless everybody out there. Take care.
God bless. All right, guys. It's just you and me. I just saw another super chat show up. Was Charlie going to divorce Erika? Wait, was Charlie going to divorce Erika? Was she part of the planning of unaliving him, in your opinion, with what you're privy to? Now, that must have been for Matt. But here's the thing with Matt. He worked for Turning Point Action, which is the political arm, right? The political nonprofit part affiliate of Turning Point. And he worked directly under Tyler Boyer. And he did have knowledge of, the overall culture there, because the campus is one campus and the buildings are separate. And he had his own personal opinions of Erika and the few times that he saw her. She didn't do a lot in the political part of Turning Point Action until 2025, when she showed up at an event and introduced Charlie. But that was really like the first time Matt had seen her. But now we know, it was like paving the way for what was to come. And man, it really bugs me that this doesn't work. Let's see. Hold on. Okay. There we go. I'm just so used to it being on without it on. It drives me nuts. It adds a little light. But let me read that. It would be all speculation for him. Nobody has actual knowledge on if Erika was part of the planning, right? What we can discern is her behavior and her decision making after the fact does not match up with what Charlie said publicly he wanted for TPUSA, what he was doing for TPUSA, his views on Philly, his views on Iran, his views on America First, which were true America First, his views on Massey, his views on Jeffy Epi. That was the other thing that didn't come out until after, right? Like no files. We're not releasing any real files. We're not going to really have any accountability. We're going to do some mock trials where we're going to depose Wexner and the Clintons, but nothing's going to come of it. But so we can see and we know that TPUSA and Andrew and Erika are defending Trump and the lack of accountability on the Epi files. We can see that they changed course on everything that Charlie was doing and saying at the end. And they're acting like we're crazy for noticing, and that we're the ones in upside down world. They're in right side up world, and they're trying to retell and reshape history of what Charlie was doing towards the end of his life. To me, these are indicators of motive, right? These are indicators of guilt, suspicion, and reason to question Erika Kirk and everyone in TPUSA, the leadership at least, right? The ones that are making decisions, and Andrew, Kolvet, and Blake Neff. The fact that they've created this narrative about the necklace. They defend the security team. They promote Dan Flood after the fact, and he gets a raise. Yeah. What else? The official narrative, that they're proponents of the official narrative and nothing else, right? Attacking Candace, attacking Tucker. To me, these are all indicators of something mischievous, suspicious, and guilt, right? And that they're definitely complicit after the fact on something because they're covering up a lot of things, even things about September 10th that we know that the official narrative doesn't explain. They defend right now, and now we have this video that is either AI or maybe true, but not from Aspen, maybe from Aspen, but all AI. Charlie never actually said what they're saying he said. But they need this for the narrative, for the people that did and was and is supporting Erika and TPUSA. They need this because if Charlie said this, and he said this in August, this was his dying wish. And you wouldn't want to rob Charlie of his dying wish, which was that his wife took over as CEO of TPUSA, but Charlie wanted it. Charlie said it. What's weird is they say that he said it many, many times. Oh, he was just going around telling people, if I die, I want Erika. If I die, I know I'm 31 and I'm extremely healthy. I eat right, I sleep, I work out. But if I die, Erika Kirk should be CEO. Doesn't make sense. But they need that for the narrative, right? To get people to accept it. And some people do, which is crazy. But they could put all of these things to bed by putting out the actual video in full of the event where he said it. I said it the other day when we covered it live, when it happened, that Charlie is clearly laughing sarcastically in his response when he says, Erika would do a great job, blah, 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 blah. He's not honestly answering a question, saying that that's really what he wants Erika to do. He never wanted Erika to do that. I know Barron yesterday covered this and pointed out all the times that Charlie said it. I've been doing that since day one. That was like what we did in the beginning, which was put Erika and Charlie on screen together and listen to them together. And what did they say about marriage, about TPUSA? We looked at Charlie's last interview. We looked at the Young Women's Leadership Summits, as Student Action Summits, the different places that they spoke together, and answered many questions on a young Christian's role within the family, and that it would be to stay home and raise the kids. I hate it when I talk so long that I forget something, and I knew I had something I wanted to say. But we're also almost at 3 hours. If you guys haven't done so already, please, please, please do me a favor. Hit the like and the subscribe. It is the best way to help support this channel. We've had over 400, 500 people here live. And let's see. Let me refresh this and see. We got 327 likes. Man, that's a lot of people still that just need to smash that thumbs up. That's the best and free way you can support this channel. It's free. You just got to hit that little thumb. I promise. It's the, didn't mean to hit that. Bink. All right, let's see. Yep, 327, but we got 489 people here. Another way, if you guys don't want to give supers or you don't want to, give a gift or a soup, to YouTube, and that's totally fine. People don't want to give money that YouTube takes out. You can also help support this channel at Venmo. You scan the QR code. You just write a little note, a little memo as to what you want the money to go to. Okay. Or you can do it here at theblacklinebrief.com, or sorry, just kidding, at buymeacoffee.com/theblacklinebrief. Just like I said, write a note, write a comment, or a memo as to what you would like the money to go to. Let's see. I have another video I wanted to share. Let me exit out of that. Yeah, that one. We already listened to that, but I mean, all right, let's go here because I just want to hear Charlie. Oh, I'm going to have to add it to the screen because I already took it out. Give me a second. Charlie Kirk throwback. Boom. I thought it was interesting, too, to hear Charlie talk about Erika. And we could thank my wife for finding this clip.
going over with producer Abigail the questions I want to ask you. I was like, I'm going to ask him what keeps him up at night. And I was like, I guarantee it's going to be China or something like that. So
Yes.
what is it about China and the threat of China? Because President Trump has been talking about this for years, but I feel like until now, in these corona times, it's been falling on deaf ears.
Yes. Mostly the lies and the death.
What's an introductory for China Sex for Dummies? What is the
Got
top
it.
3 basic things that someone needs to know that has no idea why China is bad for
So I'm
America?
going to try to keep this as lighthearted as I can, but that's not possible. China has 1 million Muslims in concentration camps.
Yep.
Probably not a good thing. China lied to the entire world about the spread of the virus that's killing Americans. Not a great thing.
True.
And China has stolen our jobs, millions of jobs over the last couple decades through textiles, pharmaceuticals, you name it. So
This is back in 2020. This is before things started getting really bad for Charlie, you know? Let's see. Did I get to all the supers? The last one was, yeah, that was the last one. If anyone wants to get one in before we call it a night. Yeah, I agree with this. They fall upwards because their system is not meritocracy, which is what Charlie preached from the mountaintop. So they can still be completely stupid and on the intake at the same time. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. What is he wearing on his feet? Let me look. He's wearing shoes. What do you mean? He's wearing black socks and black shoes. Is that what you mean? What is Charlie wearing on his feet?
It's what keeps me up at night, Alex.
We're
China.
informed. Would you rather be married to Hillary Clinton or have to live in China for 10 years?
Yeah, he's wearing black shoes. Is that what you were asking? Right? What is he wearing on his feet? Love you, Charlie, but your fit is off, in my opinion. Yeah, remember Candace said he wasn't about style and fashion, and that only became a thing once Erika came into the picture and like told him to like wear a cross and to, you know, dress this way and dress that way. And, you know, I like Charlie the way he was, you know. I don't think he needed any help from her, but I mean, wives do that though. My wife helps me dress. She does. I mean, like, I could care less, but you know, when we go out nice places, I wear nice things, you know, but I got my holy shirt that I wear at night that I sleep in. It's soft. I have like sensitivity, like sensory things when it comes to collars around my neck. I don't like tight collars. It bugs me. It's like on my collarbone and it feels like it's choking me. So like my nighttime shirt that I wear is soft and thin. I've had it since 2000. I wash it. Okay. I wash it every day. Well, I have more than one, but it's from not American Eagle. What's that old school brand? American Apparel. I think it was American Apparel. And I've had it since 2011. I have 3 of them. I'm about to get new ones because they're holy. But hey, they are comfortable. Yeah, I would die in a turtleneck too. Yeah, I remember the 90s though. My mom, I got pictures of me in a turtleneck. It's not good. Yeah, I don't like collars either, man. Not American Eagle, American Apparel. American Apparel. I remember exactly where I was, Huntington Beach, because it was right when I got out of the Marine Corps, before I went to Europe, and I bought like a couple burgundy and a couple gray. And now I just have 1 burgundy and 2 gray left. That's it. That's all that's left. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are at 3 hours. and I am pooped. Thank you guys so much for joining me tonight and having Matt on. We will have him back on again. Also, who else was I working on having on? I think Tommy Borum agreed. He said, yeah, he'd be down to come back on. And there's a couple others in the works. So stay tuned for that. Love you guys. Thank you for all the support. Oh, if you haven't done so already, please hit the like and subscribe. Okay. And then after this video posts, those of you that can, head over to the video once it's posted and just write a comment. It helps the algorithm. And then there's a free thing you can do. You can hype the video. You just, in that where the text box is, you swipe, it's got like the 3 or 4 dots and it says hype, and you can hit hype and it helps propel the video to new people. So that helps. Those are free ways to help support the channel: liking, subscribing, and hyping the video, and writing a comment in the video after it's posted. So God bless you guys so much. Thank you for all your love and support. I will see you guys back here tomorrow. Take care. Have a good night. Bye.